Northwest Fresh Podcast.
All right, everybody. Max is back again. I'm gonna play your intro sound. It's your signature metal sound that always starts. I know this is kind of unusual because I just had you on like 4 weeks ago or something, but I wanted to have an extent. Like, there's more budget stuff happening, and I thought we were done. And
well, I mean, like officially we're done, right? Like officially
approved budget, yeah.
But no, no. The fight goes on,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, because no one's happy, and we just have to keep. This horse is dead, but we're gonna kick it. We're gonna.
Yeah, and from my opinion, I don't know if you agree with this, but like part of this reason is, half of these guys are up for re-election, and they want a victory lap. They want to take a W, and so they're looking for that. And
this whole last half of the year is going to be that, right? Yes, of course, yes, because GAM, Green Avalos Murillo failed, so they got to bring a new version of it, and then Clark 2 or Clark et al. Or whatever you want to call it, CPG NRS 1,
these are
whatever.
Just round two.
Well, and it's like in some cases like round 3, right? There was like there are two competing, save the workers. No longer amendments, now they're ordinances, but it's the same idea. And neither one of them has support on the other side of the aisle.
So it seems like a redux, or it's like the same. We're in a Mobius strip or something, and I was thinking it's kind of like Mortal Kombat when each person wins a round. This is round 3, and somebody's gotta. But I don't know, maybe nothing.
No one wants to be the person that steps away from the negotiation table, right? No one wants to be the one to be like, well, they're not going to work with us, because then you're not the last person to speak. The other person gets to go, see, I told you they don't compromise.
There's a lot of that. It seems like
there's a lot of that. It doesn't make anybody look good. That's why if you'll notice. Eric Zimmerman's name is just suspiciously absent from all of these proposals, because he's just like, what are we?
What's going on there?
I've tried every which way I know how to negotiate deals, but I'm not just going to keep pushing this little like paper boat out to sea just to get it washed back to my feet. Like
it's all theater.
Yeah. I'm not that I'm insulting. Listen, I appreciate the people that are trying to get some stuff through. I actually like that. Clark is still trying. EPG is still. I'm not trying to dunk on that. I think I am landing more in the Eric Zimmerman camp of like,
right.
We got to get a mayor tie-breaking vote, and we got to get some elections done, and we got to clean up the opaque budget process, or we are just stuck.
I agree. There's structural problems going on, and we'll get to all that. I just wanted to also set this up and say, you all heard of maxing, looks maxing, protein maxing, sleep maxing. We're budget maxing today because we're extending Portland's budget season.
Yes, we are. Endless never-ending budget season.
Yeah, like I said, we thought it was over, but wait, there's more. We're going to cover that. We're going to cover some DSA drama, I guess Peacock drama.
That's why I wore my hat.
And Max is decked out today. It's some very cool swag, as you'll see. And before we get into, there's a bunch of topical stuff. I wanted to say, just subscribe to Max's Substack if you haven't. That's where I pull a lot of this information from. Recalibrate Portland. You'll be maxing when you
there you go, exactly. And you pull the information from me, but I cite my sources. It's all yeah.
Okay, let's get into some of this topical stuff. Or actually, this is like pre-topical.
Sure.
I just wanted to touch on some of the sort of national DSA things that have been going on. Obviously, there's a big New York primary situation that kind of mirrored what happened here.
It was even more of a slaughter.
It was more of like a Mamdani anointed a bunch of people.
Oh, and, it was like a 9/10 total wipeout. Yeah. This was,
Which I guess for New York, you'd probably expect. It's kind of the Mamdani kingdom now. And
well, yes, and so, I mean... It was like a heavy week for the absolute death of the Democratic Party. But it sort of proves a lot of what I've been saying right, which is that no moderate Democrats lost seats in New York. There was no like John Fetterman equivalent who lost a seat in New York. The people who lost seats were extremely progressive resistance libs, These are people who go like hard as hell against Trump. Half of them are like Latino immigrants or children of immigrants. These are like who even as recently as 5 years ago would have been the dream team. This is sort of like what the squad used to look like. The DSA is culling those people. Those
Mm-hmm.
people are not extreme enough, and they're very specifically, they're not loyal. They're loyal to constituents, they're loyal to the party, but they're not loyal to the DSA and the DSA's plan. And so they all have to go. So if you are a progressive and you kind of think the DSA is still cool, that's not good enough. And you should be the most afraid of the DSA.
Yeah.
Because if you kind of think they're cool and you think like Mamdani's cool, but some of the stuff that like I don't know, Rashida Tlaib says is a little crazy. You need to be the most
You gotta,
afraid of the DSA
you
because
gotta be
they're gonna
all in.
get rid of you first. They're not gonna get rid of me.
Right,
They can't
right.
get rid of me. They're gonna get rid of
Yeah, and
you.
I guess it makes sense to some degree. Like they're trying to literally reestablish what, from their perspective, I guess the far left, the hard left is. Like
Yeah,
they're like, that's what we are.
yeah, and
And all you all MFers got to get out.
they're trying to redefine progressive. They are the progressives. They're not left of
Right,
progressivism. They
right.
define progressivism. And if you're not with them, and we're seeing this locally with Alana Pirtle-Guinea and Steve Novick, if you're not with them, you aren't progressive. You're not even really liberal. You're moderate at
Right.
best, but you're probably center right.
They're gonna start calling you, yeah, some names and
Um,
things that you usually aren't.
and unfortunately, the average voter or whatever, I don't feel like voters should not need to. It's like the job of media companies. It's the job of like, I don't know, the Jon Stewarts of the world. It's the job of to frame things for people so they can parse it. The average voter is just going to see, Willamette Week parrot this and go moderate Counselor Alana Pirtle-Guinea and go, I don't think I want to vote for a
Right.
moderate.
Yeah.
This feels like a moment to resist Trump. Like they're not going to look up like what is Alana Pirtle-Guinea's views on Trump. They're just going to read moderate and go, I want something very
Hmm.
progressive.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
This is how the narrative is controlled. This is So yeah, just a slaughter in New York. Some of the worst dirt bags. I mean, what John Fetterman actually called this
Called them dirtbag party
the
or something.
dancing days of the dirtbag left.
Yeah, there's the
And
dirtbag left. Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful phrase. These are some of the worst people the Democratic Party has ever nominated. I mean, they are.
Well, what's funny is people thought, at least I thought, and a lot of people thought, like, man, if the party as a whole approves like Plattner, Graham Plattner, that's
Oh
like a
yeah,
step forward. But this is like
this
this is
is
like 100 steps past
This
that.
is, I
Like,
couldn't find a napkin, so I wiped my fingers on the American flag. I hate this country.
yeah,
It's a terror state. We deserved 9/11,
and it's
blah, blah,
yeah.
blah.
A lot of this too is like, I don't know. That's a theme I've talked about on the show forever. So it's kind of like old to me. It's boring, but it is also like this reestablishment that they're trying to do is a wholehearted anti-Western
Yes,
sort of orientation,
quite
where it's
explicitly.
like all the stuff you just said, where you're like, it's fine to just trash the country, like trash all the stuff that helped it become a country.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why I was going to bring this up. There was some mention at a convention or meeting they did about like, we don't need a president. We don't need
So
like,
yeah, so they have a new platform that's coming out. The platform is really scheduled to be debuted next month at the big Chicago Socialist Convention.
it's like a bigger
It leaked a
thing.
little early. It didn't leak early. I mean, it's been going through their national political committee, right? The NPC. Then, so this is their policy platform. It's the Workers Deserve More platform. Stu Smith, I think, was the first person to break this story, but now it's everywhere. And I mean, this is going to land hard on people's ears because people overuse the phrase communism, right? But it is communism. It is abolish the presidency. This is the DSA national policy platform for moving forward, right? This is the platform you need to agree with to be a, cadre candidate, which all of these losers are. So abolish the president, abolish the Senate. The House of Representatives becomes much larger, switches to ranked choice voting, and becomes worker centric, right? So what you do is you take the executive branch, you shrink it, you take the judicial, you shrink them, you make them actually appointed by and subservient to the new
House.
Congress, which is just the House.
Okay.
This is a worker controlled unicameral legislature that dominates all branches of government. From there, you go ahead and there's some redundant stuff like get rid of the electoral college, which you don't need anymore because you don't have a president, but that's fine.
Right.
Close all military bases abroad, all military bases. We're talking
Okay.
allied bases, abandon
Yeah,
them.
like the old DMZ in Korea, all this
Pull
stuff's
it all back.
yeah.
We are ultra isolationists now. Probably leave the UN. And no word on leaving the WHO. They don't seem to really understand how international policy works, but that's fine. Again, ultra isolationism.
Yeah.
Um,
What is the I would just get what is the when you say the house is reoriented into this like what does that mean? Worker centric
well,
or whatever?
so you got to get the workers in the schools to teach working class history, because the working class, and that's with a capital W and a capital C, needs to be the forefront of American thought. So the workers, I mean, ideally, eventually, probably the unions would be picking the candidates, but sort of democracy.
So
No,
that's kind of what they mean by that is like you kind of install them from these worker
well,
unions.
the idea is that the House of Representatives is the only truly democratic part of American society, right?
Right.
Because you can be a complete moron and end up in the House. Like, if anybody's ever paid attention to the U.S. House of Representatives, that is where we throw like
Yeah.
the
If you're trying to get into
defective
Congress, that's
politicians.
the easier way
Yeah,
to go.
it's a path to success, right? But
Yeah.
you can get some smart people through there, but you also end up with like people who believe in Jewish space lasers, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
real nuts can, and the DSA looks at that and goes, yeah, that
Mm.
should be the only part of our government, because that's what the working class people, those are the, if you're in England, right, your House of Commons versus your House of Lords, that's the House of Commons. That's the people's house.
Yeah.
Everything else is just,
I mean, I'm maybe people will be angry at me that that part of it makes sense to some degree. The other part I don't is like when you throw off this kind of typical triangulated balance of the judicial branch and Congress and the presidency.
yeah.
That's just like I don't know what that's
Well, I mean,
about, but there's
yeah.
supposed to be checks and balances there, and when you throw
No,
that off, it's
no. The checks and balances is just stopping the people, right? They don't want a
right. Yeah.
republic. They want like as close to a direct democracy as they can get, but they also just want the Soviet Union. Like, this
Yeah.
is the thing.
Because all this stuff we're talking about is like you're doing away with what we know as a democratic republic, which is what we are, right?
Yeah, they want
Yeah.
a democratic socialist republic, which
Right.
looks nothing like a democratic republic, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's a unicameral legislature that has no real checks on its power. The check is the worker. It's the people.
They're the gatekeepers of
Yeah. We elect the people and we send them in there. And then I don't know, if we don't like what they're doing, we just like guillotine them or something. Like, I don't know how they think this isn't going to be a massive corrupt and
Yeah, like all the things we've seen
again in
Venezuela
every
or
communist country.
North Korea or
Yeah,
any of these.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they would say like, well, because there's not like a strong single leader at the top, it won't immediately become corrupt, right? Because it will be a big arguing body. And by the way, they want the House to be much larger, right?
Yeah.
They want the
Like double
House,
the size or something.
yeah, they want a giant sort of a parliament.
It's kind of almost like what you'd think of in the third Star Wars, or like
Sure.
that huge. I'll put a photo where
Yeah,
Yoda's
yeah,
throwing those things
yeah,
around.
yeah,
Whatever. I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
like
yeah.
a
Yeah,
thousand people.
it's a mess. So this is what they want. There's weird other stuff in there. Obviously, we would cut all ties with Israel, recognize Jerusalem as the capital of a new, free, liberated Palestine. I don't know how the hell that's supposed to work
Probably
without us just going to.
priority number one for them. Or
Yes,
something.
no, I mean it's high on the
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
We wouldn't go to war like ever. No sanctions. No military bases abroad. Again, foreign aid is sort of fuzzy where it fits in there, but it's again, ultra isolationism, the recognition of all forms of marriage,
Okay.
whatever the hell that means.
Yeah.
I
Because
think,
we already
I
currently
think,
have gay marriage.
I
So
think we kind of know all forms of marriage is polygamy.
oh,
I think
right.
we kind of know.
That's like the
where
only
this
other
is.
path.
This is
Really,
yes. This is kind of, they're like all forms of marriage, and you go, oh, okay, cool.
so
So
this is the
sister wives,
United
dope.
States of Utah or historical Utah, I guess.
Yes. So, yeah. And sorry. And then the most fun for the people at home, the dismantling of the entire capitalist carceral state. So that means all prisons abolished. And then once the prisons are gone, you have no need for police. So then you abolish the police. And we switch to some other justice system that doesn't involve locking people up.
And that'll just handle itself. Like
That
we'll
will handle itself because we'll overthrow capitalism, and so we'll get rid of the root causes of these
there's no crime
violences.
and
Well, there will be crime, but really, I mean, when somebody hurts you, aren't you really just looking for an acknowledgement that they know that they hurt you? Isn't that what you're really
yeah.
seeking?
And if they hurt you, really, there's something going wrong with them, and you got to help them. And
Exactly. Or there's something going on with
right,
society. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's root causes. They just trot out root causes as a phrase. Yeah. So I say all of this not to scare people into thinking like the country's going to collapse and that they're going to destroy the US Constitution, which is literally what they want to do. I can't stress enough. They will never succeed at any of this. But this is like your partner decides that they're going to put a swimming pool in your living room.
mm.
You live on the fourth floor of a condo.
Mm-hmm.
They can't put a swimming pool in your living room. I mean, logistically, legally,
Right.
there's no way it succeeds. But you don't just let them try for the next 6 months because it's going to destroy your living room. It's going to cost you a bunch of money. It might get you sued, right? Like there's going to be a lot of things. This swimming pool in the living room idea is going to do a lot of damage. So you stop them from doing that. This is where we're at with the DSA. The DSA now has a plan that cannot succeed, is explicitly anti-American, but what it can do is dismantle a lot of institutions, cost a lot of money, and hurt a lot of people. It could do all of that, like, and will, if allowed to run. But the other big thing is because this is the new policy, and because they've gutted the Democratic Party now, and they identify openly as the Tea Party of the left. They're really proud about this being their Tea Party moment. I think we know how the Tea Party ended. We're just going to get 10 more years of Republican rule.
Yeah,
That's how this
kind of
actually.
galvanize the other side.
Well, you just split the party. You split the party. So let's say,
Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah,
I like Josh Shapiro. Let's say they put forward Josh Shapiro for president in 2028. He can't win because
yeah.
these kids would never
Yeah,
vote for
no,
him.
I agree. Yeah, and there's already conversations this week about that of like even with the midterm of
Yeah.
like worries about
Yeah.
fraying within the
Yeah.
party.
Oh, I
You see
mean,
it with Hakeem Jeffries and a lot of these
I don't
like
think.
traditional
Yeah.
Democrats. But no, I agree too. I almost think there's a lot of chatter about like Pete Buttigieg running it for
Sure, but he
president
can't.
next. Same
But he
thing.
can't win.
It's
He
the
can't.
same.
Yeah,
I
he
think
can't.
it's
He can't win. I would vote for him. These kids
they would never
won't. They
do it.
would
Yeah,
never vote for him
he's not. He
because
doesn't have
he's
enough
a
points.
and he's a genocidaire
Yeah.
or he's a corporate bootlicker. What is Angelita Murillo said? Giving Boots a sloppy toppy, fucking foul woman that she is. Like they will never vote. You can put forward your favorite progressive candidate. I'm not sure they'd vote for AOC.
Yeah,
I
even
actually
she's.
don't think they'd vote for her
Yeah, even
because
she's.
she's too morally compromised. She's too,
Yeah.
corporate.
Yeah, and that's kind of how extreme things have gotten. Because
Yeah.
it's like what her and Bernie are trying to do right now with this, like, let's buy the data center, like let's own all the data centers in the country.
So
Like that,
stupid.
even that to me isn't. They're like that's not far enough. Like with all the
No,
stuff
it's
you're
nowhere
talking
near. It's
about,
nowhere near far enough. It's
because they
nowhere
just
near far enough.
want to, knock out all these
No. So
pieces of our government and stuff.
yeah.
It's
So
weird because in this horseshoe theory world, it almost seems like a lot of the same things that like the super hardcore Doge folks.
yeah.
We're
Oh,
like, let's
you get
take out all the
well, like
education, Department of Education, and all this
gutting
stuff.
USAID,
Yeah,
right, is not that different than
right.
US out of everywhere.
Yeah.
Like they go at it from different angles,
Hmm.
but it's this idea, it's this idea, and this is not how money works, and this is not how foreign aid or it's not how anything works. It's the idea that every dollar we spend doing X is a dollar we could spend at home. But that's not actually how the world works. In a lot of these cases, the dollar we spend doing X is actually like a credit that we give to another country that allows them to purchase US made goods and generates jobs here, right? This is
There's kind of an ROI.
there's a
Yeah.
and in many cases the ROI is actually impressive.
Mhm.
Like I'm sure our libertarian friends are not going to want to hear this, but the ROI on Israeli aid is awesome.
Yeah.
It just is. It's awesome. It's really, really, really good. In the same way that you can defend food stamps by saying the ROI is solid. Yes, that's not
Right.
the only reason to do something, but like this is just a very childish view of how the world works. So yeah, I'll say, I mean, just to skip ahead to 2028 in the presidency, um, you should register as a Republican going into the 2028 primary, because right now your biggest concern is who they're running. Like, because that
Yeah.
person's going to win. So register Republican for the 2028 primary so you can have a little bit of say in who our next president's going to be, because it's going to be that
It's gonna
person.
be, yeah.
It's going to be that person.
Well, I was gonna say it's like, because I do think the Democrat Party as a whole needs to be the big tent party, and they're trying to do that with the stuff. But I think that um, like the best way, like if you're a registered Democrat, like I am, or I think you are too.
No
Or
longer,
no,
but
okay. Like I would say, to like be in line with that, just reject all this bullshit. I wrote at the top, just don't rank here locally. Don't rank DSA in any
yeah,
of the races. We've got the early preview of this stuff here in Portland because we're on the forefront
yeah,
of ideology and extremism and all that.
yeah. I think
So I
you're
think
right.
here it's an easy decision.
It's an
Just
easy decision.
but like nationally, I think a lot of places are just now going through this and they're kind of
Oh, yeah.
finding out like what's going on. What do you want to do? Like,
So that's the upshot for Portland. Is, yeah, nationally we're in a lot of trouble. The
yeah,
DSA is gonna kill the, well, they've, I think they've already killed the Democratic Party, but that's fine. Locally, you're right. We're ahead of the curve. We're
yeah,
already seeing that this isn't working. And the good news is, locally, all you have to do is just don't rank them. It's really, really simple. So there's actually some silver linings here. Stuff's going real bad for them locally.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say that's a good. I was gonna get into the topical stuff. Is that what
Yeah,
you
let's
wanted?
do it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Okay.
Let's hop into topic.
Um. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if this is hype. It's hype because there's a lot of topical stuff to cover. Um. Yeah, and I wanted maybe we'll circle back. I wanted to have you explain the sort of using the party thing, but we can get into that
Yeah,
later.
yeah, yeah.
So Max is wearing a shirt here, but
So,
he's wearing that because there
text
was
the Mitch
a story this week. Mitch Green didn't pay over $7,000 in property tax. I'll put the headline up.
for a mere year. Come on,
Yeah,
just a
and
year.
my little commentary about this, I would say there's a pattern of, let's call it, basic financial errors with this guy who is, he kind of runs himself as the economist on the council.
Yeah.
um I've talked before about he's made some amendments that blew like huge holes in the budget. I can put the headline up from Lamb Week.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, if you read this story, I just really get worried when like this guy this is his defense. He claimed he didn't understand that his mortgage agreement would pay for these taxes, which is kind of common, but I don't really, I just think, first of all, that's a pretty thin line of defense if this guy just doesn't understand his basic agreement.
Yeah.
But it really just spells like this kind of rotten undercarriage of this guy's background, right? Like
He's not, he's, yeah.
it
So,
makes me worry for Portland fiscally when he
yeah.
can't just pay his property tax. And by the way, our budgets are like hemorrhaging. This is why I think it's another huge problem is the county, the city, we had this huge fight over the budget because we don't have money. We have a shrinking tax base, shrinking business license tax. And this guy can't pay his taxes, which
So,
would help.
well, so now this is,
It's just silly. I don't know.
yeah, let me approach it from a different angle. He was easily able to pay them the moment that the Oregonian reached out. He was like, oh, I'm going to pay that today.
Right.
And he had the loose cash to pay it because he makes a lot of money and so does his wife. And he made a decent amount of money at his previous job.
Right.
So this is a thing where, to this guy and to a lot of DSA members, this failure to pay property taxes was a financial oversight because this isn't like a really stressful amount of money for him.
That's
$7,300 is, I mean,
it's a good
listen,
point. It's a good
I'm
point.
sure he wasn't able, like, he's probably not going to go get like a steak dinner this week or what. Like, I'm sure it pinched a little bit, but like, so he and his wife
Well, no,
flipped a house in Southeast a couple years ago. So
Yeah.
they have a Instagram where they talk about doing this. It's cute. So
Really, like a real estate,
no, it
or
was
just
like
their
a,
personal
like,
thing?
this is our we're fixing up a house.
Okay.
Like, they flipped a house as like a fun like couples project. It's
Sure,
actually, it's
yeah.
actually cute. It's fine.
Fixer upper.
So they like bought a fixer upper. They fixed it up. They sold it in what, I think 2022, 2023. They bought the new house in Southwest Hills.
This property that we're
the
talking
property,
yeah.
the tax property. I won't say the street name, although it did in the Oregonian article.
They're public records, but
And
you
they
know.
are public records, and you can look up anybody's property taxes if you have their address. That's a fun tip, by the way. It's neat to look them up. I'll just say Eli Arnold has paid his property taxes. I congratulated him on that. But to my point, like they bought this house, they refinanced or something, and then Mitch didn't understand. As his defense, he didn't understand that the refinance terms didn't cover the property taxes for the year. That was something he overlooked. He probably shouldn't have overlooked that. That's a
Yeah, and I'm
that's a
just
big
saying that
blunder.
from my because I have like housing education background. I'm just like, dude,
No, that's a big
you got
blunder.
a
That's embarrassing.
PhD in economy and as an
But
economist, like that's a little bit.
yeah, but then you get 3 notices. I mean, it's like missing a utility bill. It's more serious. It was way more serious because they can put a lien on your house. But Willamette or Multnomah County is good at a couple of things. It's really good at collecting ballots, and it's really good at collecting money. That's something Multnomah County does well. Those envelopes look scarier and scarier
They put
as
those
they get
little
closer.
stamps on them or whatever.
Ooh, yeah,
Late
they're yes,
whatever
yes.
stamps.
They try very hard. They don't want to put a lien on your property. They don't want to like mess with your stuff. That's expensive for them to do. So this was an ignoring. I was 19 years old. My brother's best friend worked at the courthouse, and I get this call one day, and he's like, "Max, why am I about to issue a bench warrant for you?" And what had happened, because I was 19
Oh
and I
no.
was an idiot, is I had gotten a very minor moving violation.
Okay.
Not that big of a deal. $75 ticket. Court appearance. I forgot. I just forgot.
Yeah,
I just
no.
forgot to
I
go.
actually I went through I didn't get the court summons or whatever, but I got a speeding ticket, and if I didn't pay it, that could have happened. Is that what
Yeah.
you're talking
This
about?
was,
Yeah.
I'm like older than people think I am. So this was just like, there was no online portal
Right,
back in
right.
1932.
You got to
So
go to there.
you got to go to
Yeah.
your court appearance, or you can go early to the window and pay in
Right.
advance. And I could have done that. I literally forgot I had the ticket. It was a $75 ticket. It didn't matter. So anyway, Andrew, my brother's best friend, calls me from the courthouse, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm about to like post your bench warrant. I'm gonna take a lunch. Would you just want to like run down here and pay this ticket real fast?" And of course I did. I'm super embarrassed. I rushed down. I like checked to make sure I'm not going to overdraft my debit card, and I pay the ticket. So there's no bench warrant. But that's my fault. Like that's not something. Yeah, I was 19, so we have some forgiveness for that. But this is the Carmen Rubio unpaid parking tickets. This is the. It doesn't reflect well.
Yeah, well, and it's also totally different when you're an elected official. It's like,
Yes.
and that's why anyone like him, as soon as they read that story, that's their thing to be like, all right, I actually do have to pay this.
Yeah.
I got all these notices. That's
Well,
okay to ignore, but once it becomes a story, you got
yeah.
to pay it. And the other
Yeah.
thing, to your point, is like most people in Portland, they don't have $7,000 laying around
No,
to
they're not
just do that.
7,300. Oh,
So I
I would.
totally agree. That's like, kind of goes to the theme we
Yeah.
talk a lot about. These guys are pretty affluent people.
Yeah, I'd be cutting a big chunk out of my savings. It'd be really stressful to
that's
pay
a big chunk of
7,300.
change.
I'd be crying a bit. Yeah. More than a bit. It would ruin my month. But and to your point about the elected official thing, I was 19 at the time with this bench warrant. If at 21 I had decided to apply to become a police officer, and they had done like a background check and gone, "Nah, kid, like 2 years ago, you almost had a bench warrant because you're so bad at keeping your legal shit." No. That would have made sense. It would have made sense for like a police department to pass on me at that time and said like, "Come back later,"
Yeah.
but you are displaying a sort of messiness.
Yeah, we already have problems at
Yeah.
age 21.
At age 21, you've already almost had a bench warrant just because you're bad at like following basic laws and rules. Yeah. So this is an embarrassing one for him, and that's the text the Mitch.
Yeah. But I do think it's a fair.
Because
First of all, it's a great shirt. If you guys want one, send a thing to Max here. But like, it's a play on these guys. They always want to tax the rich, which don't really exist here much anymore in Portland.
Increasingly, it's them.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the irony of this thing is he's able to pay almost whatever $10,000 in an instant.
What? Well, yes, and this is it. He raises his own taxes every time he raises your taxes, but he's always like, "But I'm happy to pay him." Well, but you really had to be quite nudged to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems a little reluctant.
And that I can't fault. I hate paying taxes, but I'm not like running for office on a platform of raising your damn taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's messy.
It's an easy, I don't know. It's the whole thing we talk about. I've ditched Mitch all the time. It's just like, to me, this is beyond strike three. It's
There,
like,
there is a richness that I am enjoying to the biggest pro tax guy on council
yeah.
owing taxes. There's something very, yeah.
Yeah. And like I
Like,
said, it's like our budgets are strained, and it's unthinkable to me that these guys would, first of all, there's no way that he didn't know. I just my own opinion.
you'd have to ignore an awful lot of big, scary envelopes.
Yeah. And like I said, if he's got such an impressive financial background, like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Like, I love not paying taxes. They had to chase me down for the arts tax years ago. They had to come after me. I knew. I knew I wasn't paying the arts.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the arts tax. I mean, they extracted it from me either way. They're going to get you. So you should pay your taxes simply because of that. But again, my house is not glass. My house is built of posters that taxation is theft. Listen.
Right. Okay. I think I just wrote time to go, move on from this guy. But anyway, let's do second big story. I mean, this was actually more recent than the Mitch story about Candace Avalos as part of a $1 million lawsuit from her time as an executive at Verde.
Technically, it's a $999,000.
I'm rounding up by 1,000,
I know.
whatever it is. Attorney fees. No, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just put a quote in here. Avalos, Valesco, and Verde are liable for paid leave interference, racial discrimination, whistleblower retaliation, sick time retaliation, and wrongful discharge, which kind of sounds gross. It sounds like a weird term there, but
Yeah, it does.
I just took it away like this is more. We covered this before with the complaint against Angela. It's kind of more eating their own is what I took away from it.
So yeah, this is the
when you have an organization like that, it seems like
this is
people
also
are going to be offended at each other constantly.
Yes, this is also kind of ironic because like when you brought up the Andre Miller has filed a complaint against Angelita Murillo for racial discrimination. Sprout Chin has filed a complaint against Tiffany Koyama for it's like a disability discrimination. It's not racial. And then this is I made the joke. I think it was like, well, because we were talking about the firing of Jamie Evanstar from Avalos's office. I was like, yeah, she didn't file a racial complaint though, because that's so at least Avalos is the one person that doesn't have a racial discrimination complaint against her. But no, that's now we sewed that up right immediately.
These are all forms of discrimination, which is
sure
interesting forms of.
And I mean, here's the thing. I'll say the same thing I said about Andre Miller. I am not going to tear apart this woman's racial discrimination claim. Right. I read the details. If true, doesn't look good, right? I don't know the details on Andre Miller's except for rumors I've heard. If true, doesn't look good. The theme here, though, right, is there's two complaints against Avalos from different employees. There's a complaint against Murillo. There's a complaint against Koyama Lane. There's even if you think that this is just like hyper progressive people eating their own because everybody who loses a job in hyper progressive spaces is immediately looking for some sort of suit they can file, true or not, these women are bad bosses.
Yeah.
They are bad bosses. They have a track
poor
record.
Executive skills or leadership skills.
And this is what we've heard, although, Jamie Evanstar is now running for council in D4, so I doubt she's going to go on the record about this, but I've heard that her firing by Avalos was, if deserved, incredibly disrespectful, handled very, very poorly. And that's one of the accusations in this lawsuit is that like this lady was fired while on an approved leave.
Yeah, it was some kind of leave. Yeah.
And there was just an ugliness to like Avalos calling her up again, allegedly, and being like, yeah, and also we're cutting your benefits off because benefits are for people who work here.
Yeah.
Like there was
like an immediate kind of shutting off of the valve,
just
or
a
whatever,
meanness to it. For somebody who cries about the workers all the time,
right? Doesn't seem very equal or equitable or whatever.
Yeah. And then
I was gonna say, can you back up? What was the? So Evanstar was working for Avalos at some point, and
Evanstar was Avalos's chief of staff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they split. Gosh, it's been almost a year at this point, right?
But wait, am I thinking of a different person? Is that she's a candidate now in D4?
She's a candidate now in D4.
This was the Chloe
staffer? Is back when she was Jamie Duhamel, she was Chloe Daly's staffer.
Gotcha. I'm just getting my ducks in a row.
No, you're good. So yeah, Jamie Evanstar was Avalos's chief of staff. And
It's a lot to keep
oh,
track of with this
it's so much.
history
My
of.
my brain hurts all the time.
And I thought I had personal
No.
employment history, but
No, this is rough. And again, all I know are rumors about Evan Starr's firing, but the rumors that I heard it was that it was ugly. It was done like over Zoom. She couldn't even do it to her face.
right.
This was a similar thing with this complaint in the Oregonian right now is that this was done like while she was essentially not on vacation. She wasn't on vacation. She was on leave, something to do with her father. Absolutely none of my business, but a family medical thing. Um, there's just an ugliness.
Yeah, and it just doesn't match up with, like you said, the kind of policy touting and the messaging that comes out from people
Yeah.
like Candace and stuff like that, where they're trying to treat workers with respect and all that. It just is like a completely disconnected from all that.
And when
If
you, yeah,
at least in the claim,
no, and then yeah, and then you add it to all the ethics complaints, you add it to all of the taxes unpaid. What you're looking at is there's just a maturity level
Yeah.
that's not there.
Or what I was thinking is like a behind the scenes just brutality or something that we're
Oh,
not like the public doesn't see.
oh, I think these
But there,
people,
you
yeah,
look at this trail of stories and lawsuits and
I
complaints, and
I think these people have big egos, but I also think a lot of these people, this is this generation coming up. I was not familiar with Velasquez, the other person named in the lawsuit, and I like pulled up his stuff, and I was like, oh my God, is he 16? Like, I mean, he
yeah,
looked younger than Candace looked
okay,
at the
yeah.
time.
I don't know much about
These
that
were just
person either.
extremely like
It's a
young,
Yeah, it's an
but
environment where young people are just going
and
wild.
they're getting elevated to leadership positions, and then we've got lawsuits flying all over the place because they're hiring other young people, and you go, man, it would be nice to kind of have like a grumpy old
Yeah,
senior, just one,
and
just some grizzled old veteran,
right.
male or female, in that room to go, nah, cut all
Yeah,
of
it's
this
like
out.
it's
Like
not
we're not,
surprising, right? When you have a
yeah,
bunch of people that young who haven't figured out how to be an adult quite yet,
yeah,
making mistakes, and
yeah,
it's kind of unsurprising. The other thing I was gonna say is like it. I just wanted to put it on here because it's just interesting that, like we were saying, the messaging and the way people, these guys, the peacocks, present themselves is very, workers oriented, they would say,
mm-hmm,
or working class oriented. But like this is like, I don't know, a highly paid executive position she did for years, and like you said, she ran it in a very brutal kind of, I would, billionaire kind of way, or whatever you want to call it.
sure,
So anyway, it's just interesting. That's a like flip to what you normally hear from them.
yep.
Okay. I think that was it. Was there one other topical thing?
So other immediate topical things.
I think that was it. I'm just checking to make
I mean,
sure.
unless you want to talk about Brooklyn Tech Bro Gate,
Oh, what's
the
that? Is
may
that the?
the mayor being a horrible bully. So this is over the Moda Center stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tiffany Koyama Lane made this like PSA about bullying, which, given your history with Tiffany Koyama Lane, is kind of rich. Uh, so Mayor Keith Wilson sent out an email. He referred to one of the people, let's not say one of the people, the primary person behind this Rip City Not Rip Off group, Idan. He didn't refer to him by name. He referred to him as a Brooklyn Tech Bro.
The mayor did.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I know you're going to have to censor that phrase, right, for YouTube, because that is a horrible slur, evidently. That's probably the worst thing that's ever been said about a human being in Portland in history, or at least you'd think that from the way that the Peacock responded. So
They got upset calling him a tech bro just because he supports them.
Brooklyn Tech Bro was bullying. It was cruel. Kip from Progress Portland,
I don't
who
know.
I can't stand, um, literally was like, I don't know, man. As a Jewish individual, Brooklyn Tech Bro kind of sounds like New York lawyer. You know what I mean? No, it fucking doesn't. No,
Yeah,
no,
this is
no
like
one has ever in history. If I ask you to imagine a Brooklyn Tech Bro, you are imagining a dude named Blavid
mm-hmm.
from Connecticut. You are not imagining
Yeah.
like he's some douchey kid who went to MIT. This is not a knock on Idan. I know that Idan went to MIT, but he's just some rich kid. We
Yeah.
are not imagining a Jew. That is a ridiculous statement. But they tried it every which way. Koyama Lane made this weird little like music video that had kind of the
Oh no.
like Lazy Sunday vibes or like
Mm.
Scranton rap
Oh,
from The
okay.
Office, where she's like in her office and the phone rings and she picks it up and she's like, "Hi, Don. Hi, um, Jonathan. I just
They're
read this."
spending time doing this shit.
No,
They're
she's
trying
like,
to do the Mom Dummy
I know
bullshit.
they are. They're like, I just read this horrible email from the mayor, and he called you guys Brooklyn Tech Bros. Are you guys in Brooklyn right now? And then Jonathan Pulvers, who was not named in this email at all, because Don's not in the video because he's in New York right now. But uh, Jonathan Pulvers is like, yeah, I am in Brooklyn, a very special kind of Brooklyn. And it cuts over to Tiffany Koyama Lane and Jonathan Pulvers standing on the new Brooklyn Bridge in Southeast,
Oh,
and they're playing
fun.
like Beastie Boys, like with a horrible mix with New York State of Mind. It's just awful. It's
Huh.
horrible. It's such a bad video, and it's such a like it's
I can't even believe that all this from the tech bro
from Brooklyn to Brooklyn Tech, bro.
just because he used those words. The mayor used those
That's
words.
it.
That
It
came
was,
from.
and so then
That's
after that,
crazy.
Koyama Lane releases like a bullying PSA.
Oh
Bullying
no.
is wrong. This was wrong. The mayor
Okay.
was wrong.
Yeah.
This is so
I
hurtful.
mean, that's because yeah, like we've talked about this. Some like if there's any like bully
It's
on the
her.
council, first of all, it's probably
It's
Angelita,
her. Well,
but
yeah.
second of all, it's
It's her
her.
friend. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And like just as a group, the Peacocks, and more specifically the DSA, like they are just antagonize first, like
Yes.
attack first. Like that's their
Always.
only mode of operation.
Always.
And so
Always.
to yeah, for someone like that to
To
make a anti-bullying PSA,
the crap that Angelita said toward Bill Oram of the Oregonian is, I don't know, several magnitudes worse than, because the thing about the Brooklyn Tech Bro comment is that Idon, and I don't know him, and he seems like a perfectly nice guy, is literally a Brooklyn Tech Bro. He's a homegrown Portland boy who at some point moved off. He's a huge Blazers fan. Give him credit for that. He moved off to New York, started like some tech stuff there. He's trying to move back to Portland now, though he hasn't done so yet, although he might have by the time this video comes out. And he's trying to start up this Portland Civic Lab thing, and he's trying to start up Rip City Not Rip Off, and it's all tech and data stuff. He is literally a Brooklyn tech bro.
mm-hmm.
That's not, I don't remember that being illegal to be, but that's who he is. And in Keith Wilson's email, he alleges that I guess Adon called him and said, "Hey man, if you agree with our Rip City Not Rip Off plan, I can give you 10 votes."
Hmm. Council votes?
Yeah. I can get you the 10 votes to approve this thing
uh,
if you work with us.
sounds like a smoky backroom
It's
deal.
a little bit of a smoke. So I kind of Keith Wilson kind of aired that out, and I know he's getting some flack for it.
Well, I was just actually thinking I haven't been tracking it as close as you have, but just the major things I've seen. I actually I like his aggressiveness in this sense of like I think he's kind of committed to his position and he can't budge from it as far as the motive stuff. But I do like Keith just showing a little more Keith now and then.
Yeah.
It's okay to do. I mean, these guys are the Peacocks are just going to be absolutely brutal bullies, like we just talked about. Like that's all they do. Um, so I think it's fine. And
I think it's fine.
but yeah, it's surprising how much this stuff is really eating up conversation. I guess we can get into that now.
Oh yeah, I guess. I mean,
Since we're talking about, I just wanted to. It just caught my attention that so the owner, the Blazers owner, had this press conference, I believe, at the Moda Center,
Tom Dundon, yeah.
and out. And admittedly, it sounded like it was kind of awkward. A lot of owners like that are not the best, like speakers,
he's an
and
awkward dude. Yeah.
But I just thought it was interesting because outside of that, I think it was literally outside the Moda Center, right? There was this
Giant protest. Well,
what I call
medium-sized protest.
anti-Blazers press conference with Tiffany, Angelita, and Mitch, right? Was
I mean, that was who it was with.
Um,
I think Jonathan Pulvers and our friend Brandon Mullen would disagree with you. It's actually pro Blazers. It's just for pro the best deal for the.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if you're doing a protest outside the Moda Center, it's pretty clear what it's like. You're anti
And
everything,
the signs simply read "No bailouts for billionaires."
right?
Right.
Just comes
That's
back
a
to the
very different.
kill the billionaires thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it just seems like we're at this real crossroads of like, do you want a team? like, how much do you support having a men's basketball team here?
Yeah.
And if you don't, why are you doing protests outside?
No, so yeah, I mean that's the trick.
um,
There's some conversations about the lease agreement. There's some conversations about this deal. I mean, I've gone on the record as saying like I want Portland to get the best deal that it can get for the Blazers situation, and at the same time, go back to my praise for Charles Barkley. Love you, Charles. His advice is always in these, you know, negotiations, remember that the man sitting across from you is a billionaire and you may have a problem with the
yeah,
billionaire existing, but he exists. Tom Dundon, I don't know. I don't know him. He seems to me to have a footing of, I would like to make this a winning team in an American city. It
yeah,
could be your city,
right.
but, you
Well,
know,
doesn't necessarily have to be.
doesn't necessarily have to be.
Yeah,
Vegas is looking kind of cute. And now there's like an argument, well, things came to light. He can't actually move the team until 2030. Okay. 2030 is not that
I
far
know.
off. It's really not that far off.
Yeah,
You think a billionaire can't wait till 2030? Listen, again, argue for the best deal that you can. Try to work with this dude. Try to figure something, which I think the mayor is doing. I think the offense I've taken at this is the idea that the mayor, the governor, people at the county, whatever, Prosper Portland, Metro Chamber, that they've just laid down and they've just said, whatever you want, Mr. Dundon, we'll just write you the check instead of us paying it. It's not like we're going to hire a bunch of workers and contractors and stimulate a bunch of jobs with this. No. I've read one person on Reddit said like they're going to cut him a check for 600 million and then he's just going to pull a landlord special and pocket the rest. He's not the landlord, we are.
mm-hmm.
He's not getting a check for nothing. Like there's just a fundamental breakdown in what people know about this deal.
Yeah.
And so we're having this stupid debate. We're having these protests outside. These people that are animated by facts that aren't. They're not facts. They're just, it's random crap they've heard.
Well, it's easy to put up just a punching bag and go after the billionaire.
Yes.
When, like you said, the city owns the motor
The city
center.
owns the motor, and maybe we shouldn't. There's a whole debate
you could have
that we
a
shouldn't.
separate argument about that.
Yeah, and maybe we should try to sell it to somebody. But I'm sorry, I got some rude news for you. Who the hell is going to buy it?
I know, in its
Who is going to
current
buy
condition.
it? And who is going to buy it? Like this is Cat Mahoney was shouting about like, oh well, the arena in Seattle, the Kraken play at, it was privately renovated because it's privately owned. It was renovated by the people that own it.
Yeah.
Same thing, San Francisco. Well, that was privately renovated. It's privately owned. And I actually think that's ideal. I love the idea of private ownership, private renovation, all private. But we are in a weird place right now where we're not a very attractive market.
Yeah.
We're just not. So I don't know. I guess I understand the perspective of people that don't want this deal. I honestly understand the perspective of people who are like, I hate the Blazers. I don't care about the Blazers. I don't care about sports. Sports ball sucks.
Yeah. And
you can have that opinion.
It's weird that there's an unusual amount of people like that in Portland.
There's a lot of those people.
I know there's also a lot of people who do like sports, and there's a lot of, real core female sports supporters. But I think you're right too. There are a lot of, I don't know, I would say almost like 40% of the population here seems like they're like that.
Yeah.
They would call everything sports ball, and they're not really into professional sports.
But that's okay. You can have that perspective.
Yeah.
You can have that perspective. But regardless of what we're about to argue about with this Moda Center deal, can we, like Bill Oram at the Oregonian is arguing actual facts. The dude is actually coming forward with facts. And what he has gotten along the way is insults from Angelita Murillo. It's like he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a bootlicker. I'm sorry. The moment you bring bootlicker into the conversation, you blah, blah, blah. I know. You're not genuinely engaging.
I don't know if you guys heard of content slop, but it's kind of just like language slop now. These terms get thrown around and they just become meaningless.
It's like a soundboard for them. This dude was yelling at me online the other day and he sounded like Angelita Murillo. Bootlicker, lick the boots harder, hit dogs holler. Ooh, this is a hit dog. He's hollering. He's licking those boots while he hollers as a hit dog. It's just
it is like a soundboard.
It's a soundboard. And I don't know if they're getting it all from Hassan Piker. I don't know like what the same TikTok videos, but I'll give Candace Avalos some praise. She at least is engaging in the debate with Bill Oram. She at least his latest piece, which was that the Blazers need to do a better job selling this, which I agree with that piece. I actually really like Bill on that. Avalosic posted it on Blue Sky and was like, I can't believe I'm agreeing with Bill Oram. There's a lot of good stuff here. That I
Yeah.
actually like that.
Engaging in like good faith,
Yes.
debate and all that is good. But yeah, the other stuff where it's just like you have 10 responses and
Oh,
everyone is genocide or bootlicker
I
or
know.
it's just
Yeah.
you become like these people are like emojis. They're not even
No.
they're not even real people. But
No, and so
uh,
to sit here and pretend like Angelita Murillo is engaging in good faith,
yeah.
but Keith Wilson has just laid down and is not. This. We can't have this. We can have the debate, but the debate needs to be. You may disagree with Wilson. Okay, I might disagree with Wilson, but I mean, he's seeking a deal to save Portland. That's for damn sure. Like that is for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. If Alana Pertlegany goes into that room, Dan Ryan goes into that room, Olivia Clark, Tina Kotek. Again, you can have whatever feelings you have about each of those individual elected officials. I can guarantee you they are trying to salvage a deal that will keep Portland solvent.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think that's true with Green, Murillo, and Koyama Lane. I think they are running for re-election
Right.
on this issue.
They want a W again. Yeah.
And I think it might cost them the election.
It is, it's a really risky thing because, I don't know if you have Blazers fans in your life, they're pretty diehard people. And that's why, to me, all this optically just seems anti-Blazers.
So this is where you get,
And
if you go on the Blazers Reddit, there's a lot of
I'm sure,
there's a lot of pro Murillo people on there because it's Reddit.
yeah,
But if you go on, what is it, Blazers Edge? The
the
actual, like,
website,
yeah, where the actual, they're,
yeah. No,
yeah,
it's interesting. And I was going to say this is
it's
kind of a
different.
hot take. Disagree in the comments, but I actually agreed with the owner saying, I'm taking a big risk by just, first of all, buying the team and keeping it here. Because, like you were saying, I think, Mitch and all these folks, like they have one solution, and that's make the billionaire pay for all this stuff.
Yeah.
We're not in a market that's appealing enough to do that. Like if we had a thriving city that wasn't in a recession caused by people like Mitch,
Yeah.
maybe he would invest whatever the extra $300 million or whatever it is.
It's got to pencil out
But
for
we're
him.
not.
It's
We're in a pretty low state, and
yeah.
then they're also banning one of our only healthy sectors in restaurants.
Yeah.
So it's like, from an investment perspective, we're like number 50 out of,
Yeah.
if it were on a state level.
Oh, it's not good. I mean,
It'd probably be a better move. And that's why I think he said, I'm taking a risk to keep it here.
Yeah.
Because he's thinking about other markets.
Yeah.
It's probably less risky to move somewhere else. And
yeah, like Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And again, they're like, well, he can't move till 2030. Well, he needs 26 different
It's not
owners to vote.
yeah.
Yes, 26 owners will vote yes.
And it just shows you how
It's
little
not-
they know about professional sports, because like that's usually how these things go. They like have a 5-year timeline. We'll get it out then when it's less politically salient, and
if
just make a clean exit from the city if this is going to be the contentious bullshit that we're facing every single time we have an issue with the arena or anything.
And if the Blazers leave, Rip City leaves with them, and if Rip City leaves with them, then we have to figure out some new tenant because all the concerts and stuff go through them, right?
Yeah.
Even the Portland Fire. The Portland Fire is not owned by Tom Dundon. The Portland Fire is owned by the same sports team or the same ownership team that own the Thorns. It's a cool team, but like it throws a lot of things up in the air, right? It throws a lot of things up in the air. I think the Blazers go, it costs you a lot more than the Blazers. Now, one thing that I do agree with maybe Angelita Murillo on is this 2030 things means we have some time. I kind of agree. We do actually have some time. Let's get this right, but let's get it right. Like, if your argument is, I hate billionaires, sit down. Just sit down.
Yeah.
And this is actually my thing on like the trans sports debate. I want to hear that debate among people who understand sports. I want to hear women athletes. I want to hear scientists. I want to hear so much of just people armchair analyzing sports. They don't know sports. They don't know what they're talking about. And so if there is time, great. Let that happen. That does not have to be an entirely public engagement process, right? Some of that stuff needs to be, if it involves the council, it needs to be public. But this idea that like, whoa, there's smoky backroom deals over a real estate contract negotiation. Yeah, that's like kind of how that stuff goes. Like, there's NDAs, there's like
Mm,
this is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and like what multi-billion? Are we at
yeah,
trillions? Yeah, I mean
yeah,
it's crazy big. That's going to be the case. Sports, professional sports is brutal. It's weird
yeah.
and it's a big money thing.
Well, I was gonna say if you know, especially if you hate billionaires, which is the lowest hanging stupid political fruit. It's like I don't know, it's not even worth mentioning. But yeah, if you hate billionaires, you probably don't watch a lot of pro sports because they own like 99% of the only
Yeah,
one I
yeah,
can
yeah.
think of is the Packers is like a community owned team, but there's a lot of really wealthy people who have large stakes in that team.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But most sports teams, if you want one in your city, are owned by very wealthy people.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
usually how it
Yes.
goes, you know.
But this
So it just
is
shows the disconnect. Like they
yeah.
really don't understand that industry.
Yeah.
Um,
But this is a lot of passionate Portlanders who don't know anything about sports. They don't care
right,
anything
right.
about sports that are getting involved.
They're wading into this.
And you've got your Brandon Mullins, right? You've got your people that are legitimate sports fans and actually legitimately understand, or at least seem to understand a lot of how the sausage is made, who
Yeah.
are getting involved, but they're getting boosted up by these like dumb masses of people that they just kind of want it gone. They would actually like us to knock down the Moda Center and like
Yeah.
build like a park
I know
where
I'm
people
sure
can
there's
camp
people
for free.
I'm sure there's people out there who would knock it down and build all their social housing stuff, which is
Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
not money for, but
Which is, I just want to, the only reason I mentioned the transports thing is because that's getting into the U.S. tennis deal, right? There are people in Portland who want to block this U.S. tennis deal to bring
mm,
U.S. tennis in to manage our tennis courts to
mm,
save Park's assets because they're like, well, I don't like their stances. Okay, but that's
mm.
again, it's just people who have like a pet project where either it's just they're very, very obsessed with trans rights, they're very obsessed with taxing billionaires, and they're like, let me go mess with sports and maybe we run like a solid sporting operation out of our city, but gosh golly, my pet thing that had essentially nothing to do with the
Right.
issue, it
It's like a
wins.
single issue thing,
Yes.
yeah. And I've heard that a lot. It's like I don't know. That debate's been going on so long with sports, and there's a lot of people who genuinely believe that, like, hey, there's nothing wrong with just an open gender NFL where people and that just
Okay. Yeah.
falls everything falls apart at that point. Is they're like you know nothing about
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
sports or
It was like
athleticism
make it was like make that work.
or violence or
Well,
like how this stuff works
well,
and
then the reverse end of that is like what a failure. The like, what was it? The steroid games. What the hell was it called?
the MLB stuff
No, no,
or
no. The big sporting event they just had where it was like the improved games or modified games where everybody was allowed to be on as much junk as they could
oh
possibly
huh
be. I don't even
I
remember
don't
that.
know.
This was like
It's like
the
where steroids are allowed,
yeah,
but
this was like the right wing equivalent of that, where they were like, "Yeah, man, let's just like let them do whatever they," and it was like a shit show, and it was
right, right,
stupid, and it
yeah,
doesn't pencil
goes
out,
off
and
the
of course,
rails.
so it's like on either end of the political spectrum. This is, I'm not saying sports is apolitical, but like it's close to.
Yeah, it's
It's
a merit oriented
yeah,
thing, and it's supposed to be balanced and
and there are
competitive.
ways in which sports is flawed. There are ways in which the way we do major league sports or professional sports are flawed. But for the most part, there is like a cream of a sort rises to the top
Right.
in like the structure of how it's set up, right?
Hmm.
I mean, we see that with, I don't know, the NFL and the NBA and MLB are all making modifications to their product
Yeah.
because their audience capped, but they're changing because of like directions in the market. I don't want like the government going in and going, well, I don't like the pitch timer. Let's start like, no, no, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Leave that
Well,
to the sport. Leave that to the sport.
it's
Let
been
them
a
figure it out.
refining process, like you said. It's been happening over decades. They'll tweak the game, tweak the rules, and then adjacent to that, what you see is like in all these leagues, the performance just keeps going up and up and up. Like in
Yeah.
the NBA, there's more 3 pointers,
Yeah.
higher scores,
Yeah.
and so it just results in like crazy
Yeah.
competitive performance.
Yes.
And so
Yes. Now,
anyway,
yeah. Back to the, I'm just one like, on the Moda Center. Like, if you're mad that we own the Moda Center, I get it.
mhm.
Like, I'm sympathetic to people that don't think that we should be spending this
Yeah,
money
it is
on.
a complicated
It's a
arrangement. You might,
but again, you got to look at what's Portland without the Blazers. Is it a Portland that has 600, 700 million less economic activity every year? Is it? It might be. Like, it
yeah.
might be.
When I almost think of it as like, what is it without the Moda Center? Because I don't know I mean, that would take longer for that to like go away or be demolished or whatever.
Wow,
But
see.
I'm old enough to remember when I visited Portland before I moved here in the 90s, like I had siblings living here. And I remember when that thing was brand new.
Yeah.
And it was just a boon to Portland and everything. And people were talking about it. And there was concerts and all this stuff. And the
Yeah.
Blazers were big. And um, I mean, it was like Clyde the Glide. It was Clyde Drexler. That was like all coming up. And it's like, I don't know, to lose that as a city, it's
Yeah.
just insane. And, you know, I talk about the recession, the city recession we're in now. This would be like magnitudes worse.
So that's kind of what we're looking at is like we've said it over and over again. I'm sure we'll get to food in a minute, but like food, sports, nature. Food, sports, nature is what we got going on. If you think we got other stuff going on, I got news for you. It's cute stuff that doesn't make any money, but food, sports, and nature brings in the dollars.
Yeah.
And I just can we not cut into the sports? Can I again get the best deal you can get? And yes, we do have a little bit more of a runway than we thought that than some of us thought that we did. But can everybody who doesn't understand how sports franchises are managed, doesn't understand anything about commercial real estate, doesn't like, can
Sit
you
this one out.
sit this one out? Just sit this one out.
It's
You don't know what you're
okay.
talking about. It's okay.
Yeah, I was saying it's okay for people to say, "Hey, I don't really understand this issue very well. I'm just not going to have an opinion on
It's
this."
okay
That's fine.
it's
You
okay
know,
to not know things. It's okay to
that's a
not
good faith position to be
it's
in.
okay to
But
not know things.
I think especially on that side of things, the Peacock side or whatever, that's like that doesn't exist. I think in a lot of people's minds, it's like
Yeah.
I gotta have a hot take on this,
I got to get in
and
there.
it's gotta be
I got to medal.
antagonistic, and you know.
Yes.
So okay, I'm we'll loop back to because you mentioned restaurants and stuff. I'm gonna come back to the foie gras stuff because I skipped that in the last episode, but I want to get into the budget stuff.
All right.
Sorry for the lead in. We're covering a lot today. So just catch us up on this special extended director's cut budget,
Well,
Blu-ray version of the budget season. Lay
like,
it out for us.
technically the budget's over, right? So the budget's been released. It hit theaters. It was a flop. But this is like, I don't know, the budget redux or whatever.
It's
The
like
budget director. Yeah, it is
cleaning up the
director's cut.
filthy theater after.
Yeah. So GAM, which was Green Avalos Murillo, that was the let's save some of the public safety jobs and freeze the mayor's core realignment is our term of art that we're using for this project, which is this is the thing we voted for. It's what we actually voted for, which is that we want to realign the core of the city and our core services, right? We're folding, like, what was it? Oh my gosh, it's like 15, 20 distinct weird little mini governments into one big one Portland, one city, right?
You're talking about all the bureaus?
All the bureaus
Okay, yeah.
and all the yes.
Streamlining that.
And some of that means that, maybe you have 15 HR managers and you're like, well,
Right.
we could get this done with 9. Like if they were all working in the same
Yeah.
office,
There's basic stuff like that. Like, they combine all those bureaus and they find out, hey, we have like 200 comms people.
Yes.
We probably don't need that.
Exactly. Especially because they're all in separate pockets. And if
Right.
they're all unified, I want to get back to the idea that unified comms, but like if they're all unified, they can work more efficiently. And there's some accusations from the Peacock that the mayor did this fairly brutally and he's just laying off. He was going to lay off, like 60, 70, real people who have names. But he also cut hundreds of empty positions.
Yeah.
They cut from the empty positions
right.
first.
These are unfilled.
They went after they did an early, so there's a hiring freeze right now, but they did a hiring freeze when we did the charter change, and they were like, hey, we know that these positions are probably going to be redundant in the new form of government,
Right.
and nobody currently sits in the position, and it's not considered crucial to deliver services, so that's a hiring freeze on that position. Don't hire anybody because we want that to phase out, because that's the kind of squishy, lovely stuff that Portland does. If we make you redundant in Portland, historically, what we actually try to do is we try to leave you on for like a year and try to figure out somewhere
Give you
else to
some
plug you in.
runway or,
yes.
sunset.
Yeah. And then we sunset your position and you're the last of your name, right? We fold you into some other thing if we can. We don't like laying people off. But we're like hurting. The budget is cut. Stuff's not good. So there's some layoffs that are needed. So GAM, the Peacock, with their GAM plan comes in and says, no, we think this is all rushed and it's brutal and the labor unions hate it. Of course, public labor unions hate it because it's costing jobs. It's also costing potential future jobs. They don't want those empty positions cut either, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, and at the end of the day, it's I'm just being honest. It's revenue for them. They collect union dues, and
Oh yeah.
yeah,
No,
it makes their organization stronger. And
yes, of course. Yeah, public sector unions are always going to try to create more public sector jobs. Again, normal, but
yeah,
should be considered. Uh so this is the Peacock plan, or was the plan. They had an amendment GAM that failed 6-6. So now they have an ordinance, which is sort of GAM again, but instead of GAM, instead of Green Avalos Murillo, it's all the peacocks except for Dunphy, because he claims he's not a peacock anymore.
and so he have a thing now where he does that, and then he'll vote anyway with
Oh, he votes
them.
with them every single
Okay,
time.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just he just claims that he's like, that's false. I left. Everybody rest assured that I
He just
left.
preemptively he's not going to join them until it comes to a vote, and then he's
Yeah.
like, "I'll vote with
I
you."
mean, at the end of the budget, he gave his little president's memorandum, and he only thanked Peacock members. It
Mm.
was it was bad. I mean, Alana Pearl Guinea actually called it out, and she was like, there's a lot of people that worked on this budget that aren't just the people that were named, but it's not good.
Oh,
He's
Jamie, yeah.
He's in the damn Peacock, and he refuses to
I've
admit it.
a little side thing real quick. I've said in the past few weeks, like if you're in District 1 and you're thinking about running in what is it, 2028,
Mhm.
uh I think if you polled Jamie Dunphy right now, he'd be around like a 5% approval. I don't think
Oh,
anyone actually likes this
you
guy.
can knock Jamie Dunphy
So
out with a
think about it now, jump in the race. If
jump in
you're
the
a
race.
decent human being, you'll probably knock that guy out
Yeah, yeah,
of city
yeah, yeah,
council.
yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah,
sorry
especially if you're like a woman. If you're a
Oh
woman,
yeah,
if you're a
yeah.
woman in East Portland and you're thinking about running, I want to
Yeah.
encourage you to do that. That
Do
would be
that.
awesome. You
Yeah.
will trounce him. Um, so yeah, that's their plan. They brought it back, or they're bringing it back as an ordinance. It goes after more PSEF money, ironically, than the strategic reserves, because this was Steve Novick was a mensch on this. It was great. He went after GAM during the budget process, and he was like, whoa, 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 whoa. This draws down strategic reserves. This cuts into contingencies. This puts us in some situations where we have our margins before failure are so tight. And Alana Pertlegany joined it. She's like, colleagues, I'm not going to vote for a budget amendment to try to save people today that is going to result in even more layoffs next year,
Mm.
because we just kicked the can down the road for a year, but now it's worse because we didn't address and save anything.
It's like you make this year a little bit better, but the following years are like 10 times worse.
And that
Yeah. Yeah.
genuinely is actually kind of what the Peacock's plan is. It's just like no hard decisions right now, because communists are against austerity, because they think
But
austerity is fake.
but the bigger thing is also it's an election year, and they gotta to get
There
the
we
W,
go.
like we keep
There
saying.
we go. They got to keep those public union endorsements. They got to keep those union workers really happy. Okay, so then there's the other option, which was Clark et al. Then it was Clark 2, and now it's, I don't even know the name of it. It's the same idea. It's still Clark, Novick, Pertlegany, Smith.
Kind of the same bones there.
I think yeah, Ryan might be in there. Zimmerman is not. Zimmerman is quiet on all of this, because again, as I said earlier, I think Zimmerman is like,
He's like, this is a repeat and
yeah,
the
and
same bullshit.
and he's going to be great on the arguing of it, and I think he'll be good votes on it. But I think he's like, listen, we have some structural issues that need to be solved first. Root causes.
Yeah, and I would say I have my mom's got dementia. I'm actually going to visit her later today. It's almost like our council has like dementia, and they're just like they didn't realize we just did this like 3 times.
Well, they're going to keep again. They don't want to be the one that gave up. They keep hoping. Again, it's re-election, right? If
Someone wants the W.
Someone wants the W. You're going to keep, yes. Someone wants the W. If they can just get that 7th vote. Ooh, that 7th vote.
It's so juicy to just say, "Hey, I saved all these jobs from being cut. And I saved the budget.
I was the one.
Yeah,
I'm the compromiser.
Yeah,
and they're also hoping that the attractiveness of being the 7th vote, of being like,
right.
Well,
you're the one that
I took one. Oh, my voters are going to be mad at me for this one, but I had to save Portland. Yeah, of course. So we're just going to do this again. We're going to do it again. But again, if you look at the two proposals, and I like the Clark proposal. I'm not trying to be mean to Olivia Clark. I think it's a good proposal. It still goes after police accountability.
Right.
Well, actually, no. You know what? I'm sorry.
Okay.
I had somebody from the Police Accountability Board reach out to me.
Okay.
And say, stop saying that. The Police Accountability Board is guaranteed a percentage of the general budget that is no less than 5% of the police budget. Okay, that's earmarked for them.
Yeah.
But this is not like PSEF money where it's in a separate account. It's not generated purely for the this is just money that is earmarked for them. It's promised to them should they need it. Right? They don't need it. It's
Right.
not their money. It's money that should be made available to them should they need it. We are every single day that we have this stupid discussion over and over again, we are getting closer and closer and closer to the deadline where that money is going to be poured into the TAO, the technical adjustment ordinance, or the the fall bump, which
Right.
is
Right.
all the money left over that didn't get spent. The Police Accountability Board didn't have time to spend that money during the first budget debate. They don't have time to spend that money today. They have less time to spend it next week. They can't spend it. They don't have time to spend it. They don't even have a director. So it's not police accountability money. It is money that was promised to the Police Accountability Board should they need it. They don't need it.
Yeah. Because you're saying by the end of this year, they would have to spend that, which
Not
seems
even by the end of the year, by like a couple
months.
we're talking weeks at this
Yeah,
point.
which
Yeah.
for a government's pace is pretty
You-
unlikely.
Oh my
I
God.
mean, unlikely is not a strong enough word, but yeah, it's
So-
like so. This is almost like unrealized. I mean, allocated is probably a close enough word,
It's allocated, sure.
but yeah, it's like
it's guaranteed.
it's unclaimed money that's just
unclaimed
sitting
money.
there. That is
and
not being
we are at this point, I think, weeks away, right? We might
Yeah,
say
they'd have to
months. We
make
might
it-
say months, but we're not 6 months. We are.
Yeah.
The idea is they'd have to hire a director, and then that director would have to be like, "Woo wee, buddy! I've got what is that? 15, 16 million dollars. Let's spend
I
it
gotta
as quick."
spin this up. Yeah,
That's-
I mean, just hiring that person, that leadership position, that would take a month on its own. At least,
at
you know, for the city's
least.
pace of things.
So there's no way it gets spent. And this is where Avalos, she does her little tap, 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 tap on the camera lens video where she's like, they're coming for police accountability again. They're trying to defund police. No, they aren't. It is such a dishonest framing. But
Yeah.
it's still going to fail. I appreciate Clark. So I say all of that to say it's still going to fail.
I totally agree. It's just the same old battle of, because the Peacock DSA people will make that exact argument. They're coming after, they don't want police accountability, even though we have like 7 systems in place that do that already.
Yes.
But they'll just do that all day long. We'll be at the same impasse. But I did have on here, is this an example where Keith could break the tie? You're the one that's got to answer this question.
Yes. Okay. Eric Fruits is wrong.
Yeah.
Eric Fruits was dead wrong.
He made some claims about the charter. I don't know what it was.
Dead wrong. He claimed tie-breaking vote doesn't matter. It's not about a tie because then you need 7 votes.
Yeah.
No. Stop. Yes, you do have to have 7 votes to pass an ordinance because 7 votes is.
That's what's spelled out in the.
So it's spelled out.
Yeah.
Of course. But like, let's go back over that language. You don't have to have 50% and a feather of the council. You have to have 7 votes. He's right. If you look at how to pass ordinances, how to pass whatever, it says 7. It doesn't say a majority very specifically. So
Right.
ordinances can't pass with a majority.
And I totally understood when he said that. I'm like, I know. But are you saying he counts as the 7?
Yes,
Yeah.
because if you go then to the mayor's responsibility, so this is, 10, 15 lines later in the thing, I don't have it in front of me, it says, because it doesn't say 7 council votes, it says 7 affirmative votes.
That's
or
what
7,
I was wondering.
yes,
It doesn't
yes.
specifically say council.
No.
Yeah.
And it says, in the event of a tie, when the council ties, and only when they tie, the mayor casts the deciding vote. Now,
I'm sorry, Eric. That seems pretty cut and dry.
it's cut and dry, Eric.
Yeah.
I'm right. But now here's what's really fun about this.
Yeah.
In the event of a tie.
Right.
So if we were actually doing council as it should be done, not a lawyer, if we were actually doing council as it should be done, you could prevent a mayor's tie-breaking vote. Anytime you knew something was going to 6-6, you don't vote. You just leave the room really quickly.
Right.
And then things would fail 6-5 or 5-6.
You just prevent the tie from happening.
Yeah. You just have to but it would be so transparent, right? Like Candace Avalos would get up and run out of the room before the roll was called.
Pretty evident
She'd
what's
just be
going
like
on.
hustling, and everybody would go, "Oh, she had to go to blow her nose." Okay, like
magically every single time somebody
every
gets
single
up and leaves,
yes.
and yeah.
But so it would be so apparent. So yes, there's still a loophole out of the mayor's tie-breaking vote because you just don't ever let ties happen. But when there's a tie,
I mean, if that's what the language says, that seems pretty clear.
and it doesn't say when there's a tie on
yeah
non-emergency. There's no qualifier there. It says
Right.
when council ties, the mayor casts the
Yeah.
deciding vote.
Because that's what I was wondering when he said that. I was like, does it specifically say a council
No,
7 or
it
there's
says it
just
says
7
it says
votes? Yeah.
votes. It says 7 votes.
So
So you're wrong,
we gotta,
Fruits.
yeah, we gotta get that thing cleared up. I agree with Eric if that's what he's saying, that like we're not gonna make any progress at all until we figure this stuff out. And
It's exactly right. Again, I respect Olivia Clark and et al. Her group for bringing this new amendment, because you got to keep offering it. You got to keep saying
is it an amendment or ordinance now?
sorry, an ordinance.
Yeah.
This is, you got to keep offering this ordinance and go, listen, we still want to save these jobs. We can save these jobs. This is legal. Canal asserted that it violated the charter. They brought Robert Taylor up, and Robert Taylor's like, this doesn't remotely violate the charter. I don't know what you're talking about.
For
This is,
pulling the account, the
yes,
budget? Okay, yeah.
because Canal maintains some version of the argument that, like, by taking the money, you're breaking the promise because the charter requires you to promise the money. And yes, that's true. You do have to offer that money up. You have to make sure that money's available.
But yeah, it seems like
But if
that's
it
already
doesn't
happened.
it's been made
They've
available.
committed that
They're
promise.
not using it.
And we're almost at, we're over halfway
And
through
so the idea
year.
is like, well, then it has to go to the Tao to get, oh my God, it doesn't. It just doesn't.
And we've said many times that, if Samir's going to do that because this is basically his project that
Yes.
he's poured a lot of time and money into. It's kind of like Eric brought the thing up last time about Jamie, the metaphor about reaching into the outhouse because he dropped his watch, and then you also drop your wallet because you've invested so much time into reaching into the outhouse. That's kind of what I think of with Samir. It's like he's put so much time and effort into this baby project of his.
Well,
He'll defend it to the death. So,
and again, this is just like Moda.
Yeah.
They know that people who don't know anything about the subject are going to hear
right.
money
They're going
from money from police accountability.
Yeah.
I don't need to know anything else. Shut up, stop talking. That's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad. Right? A billionaire, that's bad. They don't have.
Yeah. This is a political party that literally now is just putting shit on signs that's impossible, and they'll just hand those out to their crowds, and they know they're impossible goals, and this is the kind of delusional
we have
that
I don't know, through social media or whatever, we have empowered people to have very passionate opinions on stuff that they cannot be asked to read a single article about. Like, I'm not up here claiming I'm an expert on the topics that I talk about, but I research all of them.
Talking just my basic
brain is weird.
Right. Basic awareness.
Yes, I try. I don't want to know anything about the Moda Center deal. I hate real estate. I don't, but I try.
Yeah.
And this sort of argument, the argument with the Police Accountability Board, empowers a group of people to know nothing about the topic, to just go, I don't know, that headline seemed bad. I didn't read the article. Some of the Police Accountability Board members were actually on Instagram yesterday on their personal accounts. These are members of the Portland. It's like Samir Kanal posted something, Avalos posted another thing where they're like, they're coming after your money again. And you've got these Police Accountability Board members who are just in their personal accounts commenting on city business, going, they'll have to pry that money from our cold dead fingers. And you go, oh, idiots. It's not, you don't even have you don't have a plan to use it. And if you don't use it within, like, again, we're approaching weeks, it just all goes into the Tao anyway. This is stupid.
Yeah. And, I like super local government people, they totally know what you're talking about. Most people probably don't.
No, I know.
But that's what Max is trying to say right now, is that, like,
you don't need to know. It's too
if
inside
you don't
baseball.
know if you don't know the basics of, like, how this stuff works, just don't wade into that stuff. Like, it's easy to take, like, the slogans and the bumper sticker things from these guys and just go, yeah, that bad, bad.
It's not. It's not bad. It's legal. It's fine. It's ethical. You are being lied to. Stop freaking out about it. These jobs are savable. These jobs are savable.
And that's also
the Peacock isn't letting them. They're blocking it.
Well, so. That's also how people like Samir and all the Peacocks, that's their whole game. It's like this one-dimensional world where you just say, hey, bad guy over there.
Yes.
And people just go after them, and without even, like, participating in good faith or like doing any basic research or anything. It's just like,
And that's
I
why,
tell you who's bad,
yeah.
you follow.
And that's
Like,
why they are desperate to paint Alana Purtle-Guinea and Steve Novick as moderates or center-right or something,
yeah,
because they can't, because if Alana Purtle-Guinea and Steve Novick are signing off on this, you and I know that that means that it's not very conservative, right? Like, we know who they are as people. We know where their politics lie.
mm-hmm.
But they are so desperate to create this idea that there's two blocks on council, moderate conservative, progressive socialist.
Yeah.
Those are the two blocks, and it's just they just can't get along
Yeah, I noticed in your recent piece that you were talking about that, and it seems like Angelita's really using that language a lot to really,
a lot.
she's really trying to install this idea that, we're the progressive bloc, and then there's this crazy kooky other group of people who just won't
Yeah.
get out of the way. And
And yeah.
like you and I have talked about to, a lot, it's like that there's really only one bloc, and they've been caught up in controversy about having secret chats and
Yeah.
getting that seventh vote behind closed doors and these smoky deals with Steve sometimes.
So
Um,
on
but
the
yeah, it's like
yeah,
that's the one block that exists, and then there's a bunch of other people who sometimes agree, sometimes don't.
sometimes agree and sometimes don't.
That's it.
Exactly. And they're going to, and that's good. That's what you want, those six
Yeah,
on your
you want independent decision makers.
I mean, I've said this here. I say it over and over again. On an adult-filled council, on a council filled with adults,
Mm-hmm.
Steve Novick is a fun loose cannon. I like him on a council filled with adults.
Right, right.
But right now, he's a loose cannon on a council with a near majority block of idiots.
Totally,
So
yeah.
it's really bad.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not even necessarily dunking on Steve for that. I actually kind of like the weird energy he brings. Again, if he wasn't so often. A swing loose cannon is not fun. Yeah. So on that seventh vote, Brandon Mullen, Jamie Evanstar. We've mentioned both of them. Brandon Mullen is running in 3. Jamie Evanstar is running in 4.
Mm-hmm.
They are now running together. They're raising funds together as their own little kind of slate, which is the break the deadlock slate.
Oh, okay, okay.
They are all but promising out loud to be, if one of them wins, the strong seventh that Angelita Murillo's looking for.
For the
And
Peacocks, yeah.
if you get that, move.
Yeah.
Move out of Portland. Move out of
Right,
Portland.
yeah.
Hop across city lines.
Yeah.
Just hop to Clackamas, wherever you got to go.
Well, yeah,
Move.
and maybe this is a good segue too, because I was going to get into foie gras. But if you think the foie gras stuff was absolutely like insane, ridiculous waste of time and money and energy,
There's a lot more.
You're
of
going to
that.
see, yeah, like, and we've talked about before how that's connected to IP28, which has got like national attention about how ridiculous that is. I mean, it's not even a 90-10 issue. Like, it's like a 99 1% issue from all the backlash against that. But that's kind of the direction that things would go if they did get that seventh. It's just like run roughshod over the city. You're going to see the kookiest, wackiest idea. Like, we haven't got started if you think.
If you would like to see Cesar Chavez changed to Palestine Boulevard.
Yeah, or stuff like this.
Yeah. Give them a strong seventh. They're going to do some fun things.
Yeah, or if you want to see the city start to buy small businesses and just close them down, or like, own stuff like that. Like, that's kind of what you'll start to see is.
Oh yeah. Well, we're gonna get a bank. Yeah. We'll get a bank.
Right, yeah.
Bank of Portland. That'll be run well. Yeah. Well, and yeah. So
I've said before, imagine the DMV.
No, this is
Imagine the great experience of the DMV on every corner of Portland. And that's kind of what you get with.
Yes.
No more businesses, no more restaurants.
Yes.
No more carts. It's all just DMV. Great experience with someone behind a keyboard just telling you it's not going to work. You got to come back tomorrow or whatever. Anyway, I've said that in the past. I just think that's
it.
That's what they want, is like this government experience.
That's it on everything.
It's lovely and
so
in
great.
their mind. But yeah, maybe it's a good transition to the. I was just mad at myself. I wanted to get into the foie gras stuff with Eric because he wrote a good piece about it, which I can put.
He did
thing up.
He's not wrong about everything. He's right about a lot of things. Just wrong about that seventh vote.
Yeah, he mostly wrote about how much time and money and energy it took. I mean, it took what, like 3 or 4 months for that whole thing to kind of work its way through. And
I mean, I think that's understating it. This is some of the restaurants found out. Yeah, they were working. I mean, okay, so there's always policy you're a little bit working on in the background. So I want to be fair. Some stuff takes a year. Some stuff takes 2 years. This needle thing in front of schools that we just got through at the county that took 2 years.
Yeah,
in some form or another. The county part of it didn't take that long. Yeah, no, this was a huge time sink. So I called my dad for Father's Day. Mm-hmm. I love my dad. That explains a lot of why I'm not a DSA member. is I actually have a good relationship with my father. He's a great man.
You guys will understand that if you anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good one.
yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
But he was like, what have you been doing lately? And I was like, oh, just losing political fights. That's all I do. He's like, what's your latest? I was like, the foie gras ban. And he was like, all right, I don't leave the foie gras aside. Why are you guys banning ingredients? Like, period. And we couldn't even get to foie gras. Because he's like, okay, I'm starting to figure out why Portland's in so much trouble. He's like, it's not that you have your priorities in the wrong order. It's that you have the wrong priorities. And I agree with him. It's not that there's like a drug epidemic, so we should focus on that before foie gras. It's you're trying to lose weight and you're in the grocery store and you're looking at your grocery list and the first 4 items are all different flavors of Oreos. You don't need to move those to the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be on your list. This is foie gras. It's not an order issue.
Yeah.
It's that we're focused on entirely the wrong things, period. And I agree with him.
That's kind of what I wrote on here. What I was gonna say to Eric last time is like, I understand you can quantify the amount of time and staff money from city hall, city council, all that stuff costs millions of dollars of them sitting there and talking about how we can stop restaurants from serving what they want to serve. That's one component, but the other component is what you're saying. Like we had, like literally outside City Hall, there's all these huge issues that have plagued Portland for like 20 years now: homelessness, addiction, mental health, public safety. But they're just ignoring that and focusing on this thing that is just abstract and like no one really cares about it.
Yeah.
But it became this huge issue in City Hall. And I was going to put Steve a little bit on blast because I wrote on here like he took the save the animals approach,
Oh.
which I understand. He's an animal lover. He took the save the animals approach instead of the save the city economy approach.
Yeah.
Which is just like, I get it. He wants that seventh vote W.
Yeah.
And I think he felt good about, well, this has happened in other cities that are huge and gigantic that have better economies than ours. He didn't say that, but they've done in other cities.
Yeah.
I like animals.
Sure.
I'm going to be that seventh vote.
Great.
Without considering, what it does to one of the only healthy sectors we have, which is the restaurant scene.
Sure.
I was watching I'm a huge Kitchen Nightmares fan. I'm a Gordon Ramsay fan. I've been watching those again. I've seen them all. I think it was actually a Hotel Hell episode. I can't remember, but that came up in like a fine dining restaurant. And he was just like telling them what they need to do to improve the foie gras. And I'm just like, it's just such a weird universe where our culinary sort of renownedness here is just picked on and demonized. And I fear for the business owners that worry about what are they going to come after next? Are they going to come after my business?
That's it. So that's it. Because again, these groups have stated other goals, right? They think there's a lot of things that are unethical in the world.
Yeah.
So I like that you brought up Ramsey. I think people should go read Anthony Bourdain on foie gras.
Yeah.
There's also a really good Good Eats article from, I want to say 2016 on foie gras. This is back to sports. You don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
You don't understand what the product is.
You're not a
You don't
Michelin chef.
And also, again, you can fix this. You don't have to become a Michelin star chef, although I've now met some and they're this is cool. I made cool friends off this weird fight.
Yeah.
I got to try some cool food. But I also got to read. And I didn't read long books, and I didn't have to go attend seminars or go to culinary school. I read a 2,500 word piece in Good Eats, and I read some Anthony Bourdain, and I came away from it understanding more about how ducks work and more about what foie gras actually is. And it changed my position on it a little bit. I went from being a person who was on my dad's side of, why are we banning ingredients? Leave restaurants the hell alone. Just leave them alone. Leave them alone. Stop it. I am actually pro foie gras now. Like just straight up pro foie gras. But this is the sports thing. This is where we get in trouble with the city starting to meddle with some of this stuff that they don't understand. I don't know. I thought we voted for a new form of government, so we bring in experts and everything isn't up to 5 bureau chiefs that are just elected people who are good at bloviating. I thought that we were bringing in experts, right? I thought that we were bringing in, like, the bureaus are supposed to be more independent.
Yeah. Supposed to be more open-minded, not more closed-minded.
Yeah, and I understand that you always want some avenue, some weigh into your government. So if you feel like something is wrong, you can get it done. But like, this is just paper straw bullshit. This is just paper straw bullshit. This is the failed GMO labeling thing. This is just some niche group from out of state who comes into meddle, and for some reason, our counselors are dumb enough that they're not.
They just eat it up like
They just
they know it's a easy. They either know it's an easy political issue, or they're
yeah.
just that dumb that they're
Some of them
like,
are some of them are just dumb.
But no,
Listen,
your
yeah,
point totally makes sense because it is like, if and I'm saying this as a layman, I'm not a chef obviously either, but if you know a little bit about that world, in the culinary world, like and it's not a huge piece of it, but that's a well-known dish that's served at like
yeah,
renowned restaurants.
yeah,
And if you start saying, "Hey, you guys can't do that here," like it just I don't know. It's just a weird attack on our restaurant scene,
yeah.
which is like I don't know, world renowned. If that's true, but
World renowned.
so it just kind of says to all those Michelin chefs like, "F you guys, don't really want you here
Yeah.
because
We're gonna occasionally stick our head in your kitchen and go, not
yeah,
like that.
right."
Again, back to the
I know more
sports.
than you do, Michelin chef,
It's
because I'm a
fine.
city councilor
We're
who
not.
got 1,000 votes or whatever, and
Yeah. Yeah. It's a controversial ingredient. Some things are controversial for a reason. Some things are controversial because people are kind of dumb. And like people don't like it when I say that people are kind of dumb. Like a third of people are kind of dumb. That's just how the world works. The world runs really fine. We don't need
yeah,
everybody to be educated on everything. It's fine to not know things. It's really important to know when you don't know things and just don't
yeah,
meddle. Like I don't know the ins and outs of that US tennis deal. I know enough to speak with some people that I trust in the tennis world who are telling me, Max, we think this is a really good deal. We think the city should do it. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Awesome. This guy who's been in the tennis, world for 25 years and is a tennis coach and I trust him and I like him is telling me this is a good deal. And I'm glancing at some documents and I'm going, yeah, that seems fine. Right. Uh, but I'm not going to try to pretend to be an expert on that. I'm not an expert on foie gras, but in general, the city needs to be a lot more careful about what it starts to meddle with.
yeah.
Why
Rather
are
than
you meddling?
interfere,
Why are you
why
meddling?
do that at all? Because it'd be like if I'm not trying to pick on Jamie Dunphy, but
Let's
it'd be
pick on
like,
Jamie Dunphy.
in his band musical world, it'd be like coming in and saying, "Hey, in Portland, you can't use this specific brand of instrument, like at any
Yeah.
performance."
They
We
have
don't
some
know
they have
why. We just
some
have some
yeah.
ethical issue with them, and
The pickups are made in Czechoslovakia. There's some labor issues at the factory. We're going to ban.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just weird because it's like, first of all, how would experts in that come here and know if they don't live here know that that
It's
these people have an ethical issue with this, and but
yeah.
I agree, like if we should have more of a stance of being apolitical on these issues where they're not
Yeah.
experts in, and
No, they're not. I mean, this is all the attempts all over the US to ban gas ranges,
right,
right?
right, which does happen.
It
People
does.
saying that that's a lie, and like I
No.
think they're doing it in Bend
So
now,
this
like
is why Novik was wrong. He was like, well, there's places I respect and that they did it. Yeah. Respectable places do stupid stuff all the time.
yeah.
That's not, look at the,
And
like,
you can have an approach like that where let them make the decision. Like
sure.
don't have a government forced hand position
Yeah.
of
I
like
just think, yeah, sometimes Steve's really good on first principles arguments. And I think on the foie gras thing, I think he's lying. I'm just going to accuse him of lying. He told the restaurant owners and he told me by proxy through a third party that he did not trade that vote for something. I think that he did trade that vote for
there's a kind
something
of a
because while
quid
Steve
pro
is
quo.
usually very good on first principles arguing, he didn't use that with this. He didn't go back to his first principles and look at the merit of the argument. He did this weird little pivot where he went, well, I mean, Chicago decided yes, and
Right.
people in Chicago are not particularly stupid. And you go, I know, but everybody's capable of making mistakes and doing stupid things. It was just a weird, there was just a lot of like ducking and diving on
Yeah.
that. No pun
He's kind of trying to
intended.
find reasons to back up that vote.
I think he backed into that vote. Yeah, he backed into a justification on the vote. He was like, "How do I get an explanation for why I voted yes?" That's just I can't prove that. I just it he
Yeah.
was good on the budget. He was really bad on this.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of like to me that line of reasoning is like I said at the beginning of this topic. You can point to places like Chicago that are like mega cities. That's not the same as Portland when we're like limping along here with our
Yes.
one healthy sector that is
Yes.
restaurant. Chicago has like every professional sports team, going back to sports again, they got NFL, they got MLB, they got NBA. It's like we have one that's hanging on by a thread.
Yep.
That's
Well,
an easy comparison of like city performance. And
yep. We have a brand new one that's just getting its legs under it. I mean, I love the W. The W's fun to watch. I love the WNBA,
I
but
know
like,
you're a fan, huh?
but it's a small.
Yeah, scale wise and
Let's not inflate it.
financially wise,
Yeah.
not even in the same
It's a niche
ballpark,
sport. Portlanders love niche sports. We have a
Yeah.
lot of trouble supporting the big sports because we hate corporations. Okay. It's cool. We've always been that way. It's fine. But again, foie gras did not hurt any corporations or any billionaires. It just messed with. I'll say it again because I'm indebted to the restaurant industry, so I have to keep repeating this. The average restaurant owner in Portland has less take-home pay than a social media coordinator
Oh yeah,
for a city council
way less. Yeah,
office.
yeah.
Way less. So just if you think you're screwing over rich people who love rich people stuff, you're not. You're screwing over artisans and makers and
To go back to your shirt, these are people that can't plunk down $7,000 at the drop of a hat, like Mitch can.
no,
Like,
not at all.
I owe $7,000. Let's just send that right now. Most people barely have $500 in a savings account. It's like
Oh yeah.
that working class that they talk
And there's
about.
some restaurants that are way worse off than you think they are. And they're hiding it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm
yeah.
not saying they're scamming people. We just lost oh gosh, what was
A crop.
no, downtown grits and gravy.
Mm,
Just it's gone.
yeah.
Overnight. I mean, well, I say overnight. He was 8 months behind on rent. He was just hiding it from everybody.
Yeah, it's weekly you hear that. I was gonna say, did you want to wade in on how we were talking about the sports bra with Eric? I don't know if you wanted to comment on that, but I just wanted to add to that. The reason that they make $1 million in revenue a year was so shocking to me was like my corner store where I go all the time. Most mini marts probably make 2 or 3 times. They're making 2 or 3 million a year just selling cigarettes
Yep.
and soda, and these guys are barely pulling in $1 million a year, and that's crowdfunded already. So that's why. Anyway, I was gonna say that's why I was so taken aback at
I probably shouldn't touch this third rail, but
whatever.
I mean,
Yeah,
no, I'm gonna do it anyway because I already got in a
comments on it.
lot of trouble this week over my opinions
And
on
I'm
the
saying
sports
that
bra.
he is a WNBA fan, by the way.
Oh, I love women's sports.
Yeah.
I love women. I love women's sports. I train women athletes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this I had a lot of women athletes I know made fun of me this week because I got chewed out on Instagram over my opinion on the sports bra. I got called a misogynist. I got called all manner. So because here's what happened. There's a podcast. It's the Click Clack.
Click clack. Okay.
It's like a women's sports podcast.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, here. So a business coach and a former women's basketball player run it. They seem lovely. I mean, legitimately, they seem like they got a cool podcast. But one of them was promoting the sports bra and this investment deal that they're trying to, the SAFE investment deal. SAFE is an acronym. And they were like, the sports bra is one of the most iconic bars in America. Certainly one of the most innovative and interesting things to come out of Portland in the last several years. It is an icon. It is a home for women's sports. It is a home for a movement. It's so much bigger than one location. They're going to spread across the U.S. All the franchise deals. They're popping up everywhere. They're going to expand in Portland. It's the fastest growing. It's the hottest commodity. And women's sports owes everything to the sports bra. Oh my God, we have a thriving women's sports team or scene, and the sports bra is like the hub of the wheel. Bullshit. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't do it. The sports bra is successful because women's sports is ascendant. Women's sports being ascendant is awesome.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
not the way they say it's flipped.
It's the flip. So I said you're putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
You're putting the cart before the horse. The women's sports bra owes everything to the Thorns.
Right.
I know that it predates the fire, but there were people in the comments that were like, "We got a women's sports bar, and then we got a WNBA team. Coincidence? Yes, coincidence. Literally, yes, coincidence."
Again, there's a theme here of this show of people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
This is it.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I love women's sports. I'm so glad that women's sports is ascendant. The sports bra is a tiny location, seats like 40 people tops. Then they have some real limitations because of that. It has some profitability issues. I don't know what's going on with their cash flow. I have heard some things that are not heartening. the woman who owns it seems like a
Yeah,
totally
she's
fine
fine.
person.
Yeah.
Seems like a
Yeah.
fine person. I have no animosity towards this bar. If the bar succeeded, that would be great. They are not succeeding. And I don't think it's a good investment. I'm not giving people investment advice. I'm saying I personally am not going to invest in this
Yeah.
business. I don't think it's a good investment to own a piece of the bra.
Well, and one thing we talked about this before I recorded with Eric, but we were saying off camera, like that's almost a concept like they would, I guess, call it a movement, or those podcasters would, but it's like that's a concept that almost can only survive in Portland. Like we have this real women's sports centric place, which is great. That's fine. I just don't think you could transplant that to any other city and have it.
No.
It's going to make even less money than it's making here.
Yes.
So
So I said, I maybe the ill-advised phrase. I was like, listen, I got no animosity towards this business, and I want to fully acknowledge that just running a restaurant or a bar in Portland is brutally hard. It's
tough,
really hard to do. And sometimes you have a successful business,
right.
and sometimes you have a cute idea. And I think that we are in the midst of learning that the sports bra was a cute idea. And that phrase is probably even worse than the Brooklyn Tech bro phrase.
It just set them off.
Oh my God. I had like colleagues approach me and go, man, I didn't know you hated women. And they're like laughing because they know it's bullshit. But they're like, these like random Portlanders are so mad at you for this. Because of course the comments started coming in like, why do you hate women so much? Why do you want us all to fail?
It's a unique hornet's nest.
It's a unique hornet's nest. And I don't like, I'm not offended by this. The thing is, there's some pro-Palestine shit that went on at the sports bra as well that I think, again, if you want to be political with your business, I'm political with my business, but understand that people like me, we're gonna quietly dip.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be like, nah, it's not the spot for me.
Have consequences.
It's gonna have consequences, and that's okay if you're super, if you're Blackwater PDX is like super anarchisty. They love like pro-Palestine everything, but that like works for their crowd. I don't think it works for like a women's sports bra or sports bar. Although I want to level another accusation against them. I don't think they're a sports bar.
Well, it just seems more like you're confusing a business with like a political movement.
Yes, but I think they're a women's sports themed bar.
Okay.
Right. I think they're just a small neighborhood bar. And I think that they captured something that Portlanders, especially women in Portland, really, really wanted. And that's really exciting. And I just don't think that they didn't expand it the way I would. What I would have looked to do if you only have 40 seats is contact all the other existing and thriving bars and say, what we're going to do is we're going to start the Sports Bra Network, which is going to be a network of existing bars. We're going to cross promote. And on game night, we're going to try to fill these bars with women's sports.
I think it's a much more salient business idea.
And the sports bra can still be the anchor of that. The only place in Portland where it's all women's sports all the time. I love that. Yeah. But I'm not investing in this. I know.
And I said last time, I think I said it's just, they in that article after that came out about their finances and how it's just not financially like functioning. They said this is a startup, and I was just like, I don't really agree with that. This is a bar. Like, how many bars do the same thing and try to exist, and they're facing the same battle. It's just I didn't even know they only had 40 seats. That seems like
it's really small
disadvantage.
It's really small. I went to Say When as a new. Wow, it's a bar. It seems like a restaurant. It's a bar. It has good food in Northwest. It's on 21st. Say When is quite good. I had the steak frites. It's like $23. It's a really affordable place to eat. The vibes are good. I hope it succeeds. It has kind of a small niche menu. It's got a niche vibe. But if in 2 years it's tanking, I'm going to throw it a little salute, and it's going to be sad that I go there. I would recommend people go there, but it's like it's either going to succeed or it's going to fail on its ability to get people in the door and keep it busy. I don't know. I just, this strange idea that like people have just invested so much more into this bar than it is. It's a bar.
Yeah.
It's just a bar.
I just find it so fascinating because it's like we're more I don't think everyone in Portland's like this, but there's a group of people that are like, let's just continue funding this failing business because it's got a good political ideology, it's got a good movement behind it, and then if they keep calling it a movement or whatever, so let's just keep it going even though the numbers aren't penciling in here. It's just a bizarre concept to me. It's like, just let it face the market like every other bar and restaurant, and if it doesn't succeed, then...
And listen, I was a little rude to some people that were, because there's some people that yelled at me quite a bit, and I was like, "Hey, you
Okay.
seem like you could use a drink.
Yeah.
You should go get one at that bar that
There
you
you go.
allegedly
Support
love.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
go there. That's
Yeah.
fine. If you really love that place, go there. Yeah, like let it succeed as a bar,
Right.
but
You don't need to
no,
unnaturally boost it
I
to.
was yeah, I was just offended at the idea that that the Oregonians reporting was uniquely misogynist. It was really strange. Like the Oregonian hates women's sports. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's just bullshit.
But that's a
Um,
common, you would know better than me. That's a common, like, I would say, like, Reddit kind of angle of like, the
yes.
Oregonians just
Oh,
crazy,
they're
you
horrible
know?
conservative.
Yeah.
No, Oregonian does okay sports journalism. Again, I like Bill Oram. But I was offended at just this idea that that the women's sports explosion happening all over the country, but
Oh,
especially on the West Coast,
because of a
was
bar that,
was in any way like no one owes
no.
anything to it. Just I don't know. It was just the whole idea was kind of offensive to me that there's this um no, women's sports is popping off for a lot of reasons. If you want to throw some accolades at some individual athletes, if you want to say,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
you owe Serena Williams, okay, sure, let's
Yeah. What's her name? Caitlin
Caitlin Clark,
Clark.
let's
Yeah.
talk.
People that have put it on the map. And
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
not,
yeah.
yeah.
Simone Biles. We could just list them all day,
Yeah.
but that's why women's sports is ascendant
Right, right.
because the product. Oh, we're back to markets and letting the product refine itself. The product is just ever better. It's
Right,
just
yeah.
ever better, which is great. But the cream rises, right? So yeah,
Yeah. The idea that, a whole league of sports is following a business that's based on alcohol. Like, that's like,
yeah,
they've been selling beer and stuff with sports for
yeah, 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 yeah.
probably
It's
since the
it's
Olympics was created in Greece. And
yeah,
I don't know.
and I think the last thing I'll say is again, I train women athletes. I have there are a lot. My life is filled with women. I don't know any women who like go there,
Yeah.
which is fine.
I know a few who might. I can't confirm
It's
that, but
fine. No, I mean, like
yeah.
I know someone who is like max my immediate friend circle is 15 lesbians who play sports.
Yeah.
None of us go there.
Yeah.
Like we went there for like one game. I mean, and it's fine. I hope they succeed. I'm just like this idea that this is the center of women's sports in
Right.
Portland.
That's
No, it's
that's
not.
that's basically just the sales pitch that that they would
Yeah.
say to try to sell it to other cities.
That's an investor pitch. It's
Yeah.
you're trying to get people to invest, and no, thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that was a little. I didn't have that on here. I was
Okay.
curious about your opinion on that.
Well, you just happened to hit on
I didn't know. Yeah, I went through that though. That's
kinda,
crazy.
no, it was mostly fun.
So I got a couple quick things. I'll try to go through these quickly. I got this thing. I made an Instagram story about this, and then I deleted it because my address was on it. But I blocked that out here. So, but anyway, I just think these are ridiculous.
I'm familiar.
I'm a District 3 resident, so I got one of these, and I immediately thought, hey, this is a campaign mailer. We're in campaign season. She's running for re-election. It only has her name on it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say, hey, District 3 update from all the
Mm-hmm.
counselors. So, and people, a lot of people have noticed these. I'm not a resident of these, but I've heard Eric Zimmerman's doing it, and Olivia and some other people. I just think these are at the very least borderline illegal, like, because this was paid for, as you see on there, from her office money.
Yeah. This is a mailer from the office,
Yeah,
from portlandoregon.gov/Koyama.
but like, just looking at the first page and all of that, it just is like clear that this is just self-promotion.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how the goal being promoting Tiffany is not a campaign mailer. And
Current and upcoming priorities.
yeah, and it's
like
policy
in future
stuff,
years if
and
reelected.
it's events where you can see her. So I just wanted to call out. I think this is bullshit. I don't think when we're having these budget strain conversations this whole year, I don't think this is an appropriate use of money.
No.
I did a records request on this, and the city immediately said, we can't deliver this because they're still spending money on these. It sounds like so.
Heck yeah.
So I'll keep trying to find out how much of our money Tiffany spent on this mailer. But the other reason I thought this was uniquely interesting is Tiffany, like I've said on the show and on Twitter in the past, she spent like $100,000 in 2 weeks on ads. She's probably going to do it again this year in October.
Oh yeah.
So she has this pattern of like spending, in both cases, taxpayer money, because that was from the small donor program, spending Portland taxpayer money on advertising for herself for campaign reasons, and I just think it's disgusting.
So yeah.
So anyway, I'm just
No.
unloading on that. I don't know.
I got two things.
Yeah.
Mamdani.
Mm-hmm.
Zoran Mamdani takes over as mayor of New York City. He takes, I'm going to get the names wrong because I'm not a New York City resident. I want to say it's the mayor's office of community engagement is, I think, the name of it.
Outreach or something. Or...
Yeah. It's a normal office. It's existed for a while. It's got a $1-digit million budget. He balloons it to like a $50 million a year budget.
Okay.
And he hires his street team.
The guy, the video makers and all that,
Yes.
or whatever. I'm gonna get this out of the way, but I don't want to promote her anymore. But yeah,
he hires his street team. He hires a lot of people from his campaign, right, to be his community engagement officers. What this is a $50 million a year propaganda department paid for by New York City taxpayers. It should be illegal. I mean, fingers crossed. I have pitched a new version of The Odd Couple. I want to pitch this to Hollywood.
Okay.
So Zoran Mamdani gets busted for $50 million tax fraud of public money, has to flee the country. This is my TV show pitch. He has to flee. He decides to go to Albania, where he lives in a dilapidated castle with other former New York Mayor Eric Adams. And it's just like an odd couple of Adams and Mamdani living together, fleeing U.S. justice.
I
love this idea.
Yeah. This is a buddy comedy or
something?
something?
Yeah. Trump loves them both for different reasons.
Trump could make a cameo.
Trump could make a cameo. Trump will eventually probably have to flee the U.S. for justice. And so he could be like...
I got to join you guys.
He'd be like their weird gardener who just comes in for certain episodes.
Right.
He's really bad at it.
Yeah.
I think this would do well. Anyway, this is a DSA thing. I mean, it's not just a DSA thing. This crap's been going on in progressive circles for a while, but this idea that like we're always campaigning, we're always organizing, because the big sweep in New York, Mamdani produced videos where he was like, "Hi, I'm your mayor. I love you. Here's my team." And he'd step out of frame and it would be the people that he was putting forward to replace all these progressives.
The candidates.
Yes, the candidates.
Huh.
That's like from the mayor's office. Like,
that's bizarre. Yeah.
It's bizarre.
But it makes sense of their strategy of, like I said, using taxpayer money to just do campaign work, which is illegal in every single instance you can think of.
Not a lawyer, but still, yes, it is.
Using taxpayer money for campaigns is absolutely illegal. It's
super illegal. So, there's that, right? There's these mailers, which I don't agree with. But we go back to the DSA candidate pledges. You pledge when you take office, you're going to use part of your time in office to promote and caucus with other candidates.
Okay.
This is one big DSA. You're part of the Borg. You got to assimilate as many people as possible, but you got to get as many Borg in as you can. So I have an idea. I'm going to present an idea since this is not my idea. This is an idea from a much smarter person than me. You know who you are. I think that somebody should offer up an ordinance at City Hall. And this is a free idea. Peacock members, you can take it too. Somebody should put forward an ordinance that curtails this shit.
I think, it'd be super popular.
It needs to be something about, if you're going to send out communications to the public using your office's budget, what it should be. My argument is that it should either not be done at all as the easier ordinance in this manner, or it comes from the district offices collaboratively.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, why not? Why are you... And this is the whole problem with multi-member districts. Like, I don't particularly care for Tiffany for a multitude of reasons.
So many.
But I would much rather, I wouldn't have an issue if it said, hey, here's a District 3 update from all the counselors.
Yes.
You can pick who you support.
It doesn't matter. It's all three of us.
But it's not selectively self-promoting one person.
Exactly. We co-sign it. And this goes also to the canvassing. So Tiffany Koyama Sprout Chen, that complaint, Sprout Chen was door knocking for her. She's a staffer.
Yeah.
Paid. Six-figure.
Yeah, and the reason Max is, most people when they hear door knocking, that's a campaign thing.
That's a campaign thing.
Almost 100% of the time.
So I don't actually think these offices should be door knocking. But again, if they're going to, what they should have to do is they should have to send 3 staffers, one from each office. There could be some sort of loophole, like if one of them's sick that day,
right.
There's like some checks and balances. It's like that could be. I mean, it's not like, well, we can't go out today because we can't get a third, or maybe maybe they have to get a third. But
or somebody speak for the third person or whatever.
Somebody should put forward an ordinance that curtails this and says, if you're going to send direct communications bragging about what you're doing to your district like this using office money,
especially in the in an election year.
Yeah, sure, but just make it tidy all the
Yeah.
time. It comes from your District 3 counselors.
Right.
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But this idea that Mitch is using office money to shoot a campaign video, essentially not a campaign video, just a comms video about the Reed crosswalk.
It's like, here's what I've accomplished.
No,
The
I
same
don't.
shit you'd hear on a mailer or any of that.
Yeah, it's one thing to have like a newsletter go out. It's
Yeah,
another
yeah.
thing to have these mailers and the door knocking campaigns. You have your damn newsletter, brag about your stuff on your newsletter. That doesn't really bother me. It's the campaign like activities.
Well, it's that, and it's also the cost component, because people don't understand, but mailers are expensive, and that's
Very,
why I
very,
did the
really
records
expensive.
request. Is
Yeah.
like, she's doing color printing. This is like a I don't know, 6 fold out.
It's like a
thing.
it was a nice mailer.
It's probably sent to, I don't know how many households are in District 3, but it's probably
a lot better than Eric.
I don't know,
Yeah.
the size of a small city.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a lot of people those are going to.
That's why I'm just like, when you're using that much taxpayer money to do it, that's the real legal
Yes, and
threshold.
it is, and that is. I would argue that is campaign like. I mean, it's
I
campaign.
think
It's
it's
campaign
100%
activity.
campaign literature.
But
yeah.
if we're trying to group it in, we just say like, hey, yeah, the door knocking, the big mailers,
Yeah.
this is campaign like behavior. And so in order to make this more like, the better option is just
Yeah, no, I think
knock it off.
That's a great. Would that be an ordinance? I guess
I think it would be an ordinance.
Cool. I think that's a great idea, because I've also been saying, listen, if you're a District 3 or 4 candidate, and you want a popular kind of push in this election, just pull these up, make a video on social media, and say, when I'm elected, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to waste your money
Doing this
that we're fighting over right now on sending expensive color mailers promoting myself. I think that's disgusting and unethical and probably illegal.
Yeah, campaigning is not constituent services.
Yeah,
it just isn't. And so so this is my free idea. Anybody's office can have it. I think you should do it collaboratively.
Yeah.
I'd love to see like Samir Kanal and Steve Novick and Eric Zimmerman, whatever, like do some weird collaborative co-sponsorship and just put this thing forward and say, we're not doing campaigning that we're calling constituent services and spending taxpayer money on it. No.
And I get, like, there's going to be people who are like, well, it's technically legal. Like, I had somebody last week that was like,
make it illegal.
Somebody wanted me to have the OGEC state people on here to talk about this. And I'm like, they're just going to say it's right on the line because of things like they're not using the word reelect. It's like, that's basically the only thing that's missing.
Yeah,
from
but give me that flyer again. I know, but give me the flyer again. I know. Yeah. I understand that it doesn't say reelect. I understand. I spoke to an attorney on this as well, and they were like, well, it doesn't say reelect. But current and upcoming priorities.
Yeah.
Upcoming This is what I will be working on if you reelect me.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Silliness. It's an election year. Stop it. And again, it's not technically illegal. Great. Make it illegal.
Yeah.
Great.
And that's why I'm saying it's like, there's so many levels of like unethical behavior to it and illegal, I would argue.
Yeah.
And it's the main thing is, like I said, we're fighting over all this money, yet somehow they find the money to send these out.
Somehow.
So anyway, I got a couple more things here.
Okay.
There's really only two. I just wanted to mention Sophie Peel wrote a Development Week article about the city council's total travel costs so far. She did everybody, and I just want to put this out there because I did a records request for the Peacocks only, and this was like maybe a year and a half ago. I can't remember, but I'm glad she did it. But I'm just saying, I think the numbers were almost the same as what I got. But check it out if you haven't. It is kind of interesting. I can't. I want to say Candace was near the top, but I can't remember. And that's what I found too.
Candace was very high, and she missed one little thing about Candace. But I'm gonna do some records requesting on my own, and I think I'll have like just an addendum. It's not. She didn't get it wrong. It was just a little like, ooh, but there was also this fun little tidbit. But yeah. I mean,
and this is city, same thing. City, taxpayer money they're using to travel to DC, different conferences and shit like that.
Yeah, the Peacock likes to tell, especially Green and Murillo like to use the phrase vibes-based a lot. Oh, it's a vibes-based argument. Andy, that's a vibes-based argument. Okay, it's a vibes-based argument, but people vote on vibes. And right now, the vibes is that we keep shutting stuff down. All the people that have no idea how the Moda Center is funded or who owns it or how many, they're making arguments on vibes.
Yeah, that's what we just talked about for an hour. It was like that all these guys do is operate in a vibes-based.
Yes.
They sell these ideas on vibes.
Politics is kind of, I wish it was less vibes-based. It's vibes-based.
Yeah, it's slogans.
yeah, understand. I think Steve Novik's right here with his, like, he keeps going on these tears about, like, you understand how hated we are, right? And it's an election season. Yeah, the Vienna trip was an optical disaster. And I think I liked Peel for following up on this stuff and showing who was not on. It was like Alana Pertleguiney was basically nothing.
I want to say Dan and Eric.
Dan and Eric were really
There
low.
was like a little paragraph. I'll put it
Steve,
in here about like these guys didn't
yeah,
spend
Steve was.
anything.
I think Steve was nothing. But
Yeah,
that makes sense
yeah.
because Steve and Mingus Maps fall in that same category of like.
And he's very legally aware because he's a
I
lawyer.
know, but like if you either Steve or Mingus Maps, if you dig into their finances really, really deep, like, and I know people that have done this, they're just like, it's so boring.
Yeah, right.
They're so straight
He's
laced,
spending $20 on legal
which
pads.
is
Yeah,
awesome. Like, I
right.
love that to just like, it's so boring. They are
Yeah.
just, they are not scamming anybody, which is cool. So yeah, I'm not saying Candace Avalos is scamming people. I'm just saying she's living large with her
Yeah, it's just
house
all
that
this.
unsettles
It's
me.
the same with the mailer. All this finance stuff. It's just interesting that first of all, there's too many of these counselors to begin with, but they're all
Yes.
spending this money. That's I know I've said it a million times. They have a $1.5 million budget. It might be a little tiny bit less now. I don't remember, but it's just an enormous amount. Steve's actually called that out, I think, in the past and saying we have way more money than all these other cities
Well,
as a
and
counselor.
yes, but Murillo's defense is, well, they have way more support staff at their city level, so we need this money for all our support. But then why are you traveling?
Yeah, it's just
Like, if you need it, yeah.
the kind of disconnectedness of like, man, we just don't have money to do this or that. We don't have money to fund this. But then they're traveling around the country. They're sending these colored mailers
Yeah.
that I don't want in my mailbox, Tiffany.
Yeah, no, no.
I don't want your
I don't want you
campaign
paying for
literature.
that. I don't want you paying for that.
So it's
You're laying off people I know, and you're mailing Andy stupid
yeah,
mailers. No.
same theme, I guess. But yeah, the only thing I was going to shout out Zane Sparling. He passed away. I've only crossed paths with him a few times, but he was always very cordial. He was a figure in journalism in Portland. Very young.
Yeah.
So I just want to shout him out.
Yeah, I mean, I'll the only thing I can say is I didn't really have the pleasure of knowing him. But similar to the Hoa's death, it was one of those things where I was just, I've been floored by everybody loved this dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was just that sort of reputation. He got along with like everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, huge loss.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I was gonna say, I did this meetup thing a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna do more. I've had a couple people email me and donate money, which is great. Thank you. And they want to show up at the next one. And I was pretty selective for this first one on the invite list, but the next one I'll try to include a lot more people.
There were celebrity cameos.
Yeah, there's a lot of old guests there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of current candidates.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good time. And Max was there. Thanks for coming.
That's what I meant by celebrity cameos.
Oh, I see. Hell yeah, dude. No, I know there was some. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, people. I think you never met, or maybe you'd met him before.
No, there were some
people that
new
were happy
people.
to meet you. I think.
Yeah, it was. No, I love. Listen, I'm slowly eating your podcast to feed my ever growing ego. So like, yeah. I invite me to stuff. I can't come to a lot of things because I actually do have a day job.
Yeah.
But if I can come, I enjoy having random people walk up to me and know who I am. It makes me feel. It just fills the empty void.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I'll try to do more. I'll try to do them at different locations so people maybe have easier access to them.
Yeah, this was fun though. I liked that little spot. I'd never been to
Dick's Kitchen or
Dick's
whatever.
Prime. It was Primal Kitchen, but now it's Primal Burger.
Yeah, it used to be Burger, and then they changed to Kitchen.
Okay, yeah. Good.
But they do have burgers.
No, it was good vibes, good crew.
Yeah.
I liked it. Yeah.
But yeah, that's anyway. A little self promotion. I'm still, I still have some of these mugs. I still have a lot of stickers. You can donate to me. The only way I've distributed these is if you go to these pickups. I haven't mailed them yet. That might be something I'll do because there's a lot of people I think who can't make it to these, and maybe I'll start mailing them. But anyway, I think that we've covered a lot here. Is there anything else you want to bring up?
No, I just like
subscribe again to Max's.
I just like these mugs. It's great.
Yeah, I'm giving.
We're gonna go full QVC.
I know.
Feel like.
Are they that sturdy? You know,
I would pay $49.99 for a mug.
After I went to that meetup, I don't think I told you this. Maybe I did, but I go to the same gas station. I'm religious about where I get my gas, and I'm just an automobile nerd like that. I'm a purist. But But I know the guy there. I know the attendant, and I was like, "Do you want a mug and you want a sticker?" And he didn't know what the hell this was. He's from India, but I was like, he was like, "Sure." And he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna drink tea out of this every morning,
Love it.
out of that thing," and
It's great.
he appreciated it. So
No, it's like a standard mug. It's a standard ceramic mug. What it reminds me of is my dad when he ran the physical plant at Arkansas State University. He like the coffee had like the upper cabinet in the little room where the break room where all the
yeah,
guys would make coffee. It was just like all the
it's like
10,000 mugs,
random
but they
mug.
all had like Far Side comics on
Oh
them. Or he was
yeah,
like that was
yeah.
the era of like every mug had like a funny
Gary
political
Larson. Yeah,
or yeah,
yeah,
like a Gary Larson comic or a political comic or like some
yeah.
weird like I mean these were blue collar dudes, so there was no like New Yorker pieces on there, but it was always
It's
like
like a funny
yeah.
comic strip or something.
Yeah, get
Yeah,
out of here till I've had my, whatever.
yeah.
I
Well, I was gonna
always
say,
loved that
shout out
stuff.
to you. Remember Callahan, that guy who
Yeah.
I loved his comics, and there's a whole movie about him. I think Gus Van Sant made it, but he was a Portland comic. He was
Yeah.
also in a wheelchair, just disabled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he
Callahan
used
was
to, I
great.
think it was in the Mercury years ago. He had comics in there, and that was like
That was right. Yeah.
when they
It
had
was in the Mercury.
good
The Mercury
comedy
was
in there.
great at a certain point. I mean, all of them were like they were thicker. They had more stuff going on. They had more interesting
Yeah,
ideas.
pre-smartphone era kind of.
Yes, this has made us. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
not bored enough.
and he was, I don't know, I'm just shouting him out because I remember, I always will never forget. I had it on my fridge when I first moved downtown Portland, but I'll find it if I can. But he had a he had a women's sports comic, and he was like, I think it was just like, why do people not watch women's sports? And it just showed the score and
Oh,
shooting, and I'll find it. I'll put it up if I can find it. But
listen,
anyway,
the score
that's the kind of shit you won't find in the Mercury anymore.
the
But
scores are lower. It's very fun.
yeah, I know you're.
No, no, no.
We're not gonna get into this
No, no, no.
again.
Watch, just give it a shot. It's fun. It's fun. It's getting a little
I'm
too
sure
violent.
it's
It's getting
competitive,
a
yeah.
little too violent lately.
I heard about
I don't like it.
somebody punched somebody in the face or something.
Throat
Yeah,
is. I don't like it. It's getting too violent lately. Nobody really wants to watch women beat the crap out of it. Well, there's UFC for that, but like, no, I don't like that stuff. But it's fun. Give the fire a chance.
yeah.
I think they're scrappy and weird. I think they're I don't think the sports bra is the most innovative thing to happen to Portland in years. It's perfectly fine. I think the Portland Fire
Right.
is one of the most exciting things to happen to Portland in the last couple of years. Hell yeah. And I'm not discounting the Thorns. They've just been here a while. I'm saying really recent.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the
That's
newness,
my
freshness.
favorite new Portland thing.
Okay. Shout out to them,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Max, thanks for coming. This
right.
was a great
Of course.
roundup of things. So
Yeah.
we'll do it again.
All right.